I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I will always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken, so it has been written, and it is done.
You have entered into a dimension of truth, where time does not exist and illusions are shattered. The journey of truth is intense. The journey of truth will set you free. Consider this a warning as you enter the dimension of truth uncompromised.
All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is May 7th. We have a great show planned for you. We are continuing our series. We're almost towards the end. The Real Pilgrams, the true story of immigrants coming to America. We're on part 27. The main two sources of resource or references we use for this series are They Were White and They Were Slaves, The Untold History of the Enslavement of Whites in America by Michael A. Hoffman II, and White Trash, The 400-Year Untold History of Class in America by Nancy Eisenberg. So last week we got into who are the Saxons, because in the book White Trash, the author Nancy Eisenberg pretty much laid out how who we are calling the white race today took on the title of Anglo-Saxon. So last week we ran through how the original Saxons were melanated, and we went through their lineage. So this week we are going to continue on with the invention of the white race, and that's coming right out of White Trash, the 400-Year Untold History of Class in America. We're going to talk about how the white race pretty much wanted within one generation, wanted the white race to come up on top. They wanted them to be selective about who they have their children with. And going back again to the bombshell that was, although this book had a lot of bombshells, but on page 142, it says, in 1844, Pennsylvania Senator and future President James Buchanan crudely describes an imbecile and indolent Mexican race, insistent that no Anglo-Saxon should ever be under the political thumb of his inferior. His colleague from New Hampshire, former Treasury Secretary Levi Woodbury, elevated the Texas Revolution into a racial war of liberation. Saxon blood had been humiliated and enslaved to Moors, Indians, and mongrels. So we learned that they're using that category of mongrels to describe the Mexican race, which was mixed with various things. So we're going to continue on how the white race was created. Literally a whole narrative, false narrative, around the white race's origin, etc. So we're going to continue on with that. I do want to give another shout out before I bring on my co-hosts, Brother Sean and Sis Sandra. Brother Kimero knocked it out the park again. Earlier this week, he did a video, and you could just go to his channel, look at his latest video where he brought them receipts. Once again, showing how all of the dukes and the earls were, and King James and them, all of them were melanated. So the particular book, he gives his source of reference, and this book, this gentleman was giving a first-hand account because he was sent into that kingdom, I'm assuming, sat on the court of that kingdom, and he was literally describing the court's titles, and he gave a physical description. And all of the descriptions were black or brown. None of them were described as white or Caucasian. So again, I highly recommend you checking that out. He also gave his resource, that particular book. And that's not the first time I've heard of that book. So I, of course, I'm going to get a copy of that and thumb through it as well. So again, shout out to Brother Caramel. You knocked it out the park once again. All righty, let me bring in Sis Sandra, and then I'll bring in Brother Sean, and then we're going to get it crack-a-lack-and, y'all. Yes, Caramel Ahua, Kurimeo AHAU. His channel, I would highly recommend you subscribe to. Even the topic that we're doing the series on, he did this exact topic years ago a couple of times. So the brother is really, really good in his research. He brings the receipts. I would highly recommend his channel. You subscribe to it. He has excellent, excellent work. All right, so let me bring on Sis Sandra. Peace and love, sis. How are you?
Peace and love to you, Sister Rhonda. I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm fine, sis. I'm fine. It's good to hear your voice.
Yours too. And hi, family. Brother Sean. Soon.
All right. Let's. What'd you say, sis?
I said, good they're there.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna. I'm actually looking into another setup because Blog Talk then got on my last MF and exposed nerve. They were the reason we got cut off last week. It was not YouTube. It was Blog Talk's raggedy funk ass, and I actually pay for this shitty service. So I'm going to be looking for something else. The only catch is, and I'll keep you all updated because we're strictly going to go through YouTube, and then I'm going to have just a second call-in number for the callers. So those of you that are dialing in via the phone, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to replicate the setup, but Sis and Brother Sean, I got you all covered, but So we'll see, because once again tonight we have no chat room and blog talk, so it's always something with their raggedy ass, and I pay too much money for the dramatization. So, but I'll let the family know I'm just researching other technology options. So, all right, let me bring in Brother Sean. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Wholeness and power, sis. How y'all doing?
Good. Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Just chilling.
Good. Good to hear your voice.
Likewise. Just enjoying that good time.
All right. Just real quick, shout out to all of the people in YouTube. Brother Scotty, always the first one on the scenes. Epic Soul, Sis Hope, Sis Lisa, Mr. Tyrese, Epic Sounds. Oh my God. Shout out to you all, and shout out to all of the family callers on Blog Talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead on. Somebody was about to say something. Or not. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, no worries. Okay, sis, you have any? Go ahead on with the fuckery tonight.
Well, they're about to launch their surveillance state in Cali.
Cali is off the chain. Ooh, Cali is off the chain.
It's ridiculous. And you know, it's such a farce, this stuff, because there's so many doctors that's now speaking up against it, and the social distancing and the mask and the scientists who they put in jail, Makovich, I think her name is, she's speaking up as to Fauci, and all those people who were involved in this, and how this virus came about. And, of course, we have a lot of data on how this virus came about. So now our governor, you know, I have to bring a point, too. Is Trump is not wanting to finance the recovery of democratic states. And they're bringing that to everybody's glowing attention. But the democratic states like California, and I'm sure New York,
squandered money.
No, they're just actually tighten down on this situation and make it overblown. That's what I'm saying. They're not listening to. They're just listening to their own beat of the drum, okay? And because even some of the doctors here in my city, 2 of them actually got on TV and said, no, this is not the way it's supposed to go. But, you know, these other people up in Saki and, of course, in New York, wherever their heads are saying, oh, yeah, because they got into this premise, this unscientific premise that they say is scientific. And so I'm just watching it because they want to put trackers out there in California. They want to hire.
You said trackers, sis?
Yeah. Tracers or trackers, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what you said.
Trace and track people. Dabu 7, I just had a video. I listened to him, and he was talking about the tracers and trackers, and they're going to come to your house and see who were you in contact with and all this kind of stuff. But he mentioned it, Governor Newsom mentioned it several times already, that they're going to hire people to do that. And you can this number, you can get trained, and they'll show you videos and all this kind of stuff. And so they're making a serious police state in California. Serious police state.
Well, that's a good test ground. They test a lot of stuff in Cali. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
Sound to me like if they have to train people to do it,
exactly.
they don't have the staff to do it. and dumbasses go lock themselves down.
Yep.
And these dumbasses go make it a police state.
Exactly.
Trump ain't behind none of that shit. He let these governors.
Because that's at the state level.
At the state level.
He say these governors, y'all do what y'all want to do. He say this lockdown is against the Constitution. But hey, do what you do.
You know, people are protesting that. They are protesting it. And then other people are going to jump on them and fight, you know, if they wanted to. They be, you know, doing their thing in other places as well. But
they supposed to protest it. Let them have a tea party over there.
It's a sheeple type thing, you know.
You stay out of the way, and you let them crackers with them guns do what they do.
Yep. Because you know, Sean, here they was at in front of the State House showing they motherfucking monk ass, and
ain't nothing happened to them.
No, and the governor said, well, you know, they do have a right to be out there, woo, 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 and they went to the doctor's crib, because the doctor, she's not too far from, I didn't even know that she would live that close to me, but I was like, damn, they gonna go to old girl's crib and be protesting outside her crib. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, far as I'm concerned, I done already said about the Rona situation. I always did what the fuck I wanted to do.
Until they started, you can't go in the store without a mask. Then they started that mess, and then I just put a scarf up there.
They didn't start that here. They never started that here, and I still have mine around my neck because I don't want nobody coughing on me. But the point being is I do what the hell I want to do, and to be honest, I'm seeing people pretty much rolling with the punches, doing what they want to do. I mean, they're respectful. Nobody's, you know, in somebody's personal space, this, that, and the third. But people ain't got time for that fuckery and that bullshit. They trying to get on with their life, whatever. So that's, once again, the media keeping this bullshit going, because to be honest, the Rona stuff then died down because Trump card and then was like, fuck this. We not holding no more daily conference calls, this, that, and the third. Right. So they done pretty much moved on, because right after that, all of a sudden now here come the motherfucking killer wasp, then a melanated man and got murdered and shot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, they just got to keep some dramatization. And I know it's all distraction and fuckery.
That's what they do. Look like a robotic little creature.
Let me tell you something. No, it don't look real. It look plasticky as fuck. But I tell you one thing. I got a few people. I'm in garden groups. And so I saw my garden people. They was the first one to post a video of the insect, the praying mantis, tore that motherfucker up. Literally bit his head off, chewed his head off, and then somebody else posted a video of the regular honeybees, not the bumblebees. The bumblebees are the fat ones. The honeybees, they all ganged up and attacked the shit out of whatever that thing is. So that's another distraction, because the insects ain't even having it. They're like, oh no, the insects like, wait a minute, who the fuck is you? They tearing their ass up. Those are the videos I saw. So it's nothing but distraction as usual.
Right. And it was in Washington State too, by the way, coming over from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Always some drama. Some drama. And now, interestingly enough, now I didn't have a chance to fact check, but supposedly and allegedly, The Simpsons had an episode about the killer bees. So I'm like, yeah, well, okay, whatever.
They did.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't fact check it. I just saw it. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, whatever. But the insects ain't having it. That's just the bottom line. And the more people start to realize that nature always ultimately wins, the more trauma they'll stop themselves from going through, because nature is already cleaning up herself.
Right.
So it don't matter the fuckery that they put out. She's going to always fight back and reinvent herself, and now she's doing the ultimate cleanup. So let them keep on fucking around, because no matter what they try to throw at the public, they'll get everybody in a tailspin for a little bit. But then the public like, yeah, well, yeah, okay. Because now this is just my 1 cent. This is just my personal opinion. I think with the Rona stuff, they really thought it was going to take a lot of people out and a lot of people down. It didn't. Now, it did take some people out that were vulnerable from a health situation, and I do know a few vegans that it took out. They survived. They didn't leave here or whatever, but they got really, really sick behind it. So I'm saying all this to say the populace overall immune system is a hell of a lot stronger than these fuckers anticipated. It's a hell of a lot. Now, this is just my little opinion. It's a hell of a lot stronger than they thought.
It's shared by many because they're protesting downtown, and that's exactly what it says on some of those signs. Our immune systems do the job for us. So, yeah,
it's pretty much proven. It's pretty much proven. So it don't matter what they try to come up with the fuckery. And I think that vaccination that they pushing, I don't think majority gonna take that bullshit.
No.
I really don't think they're gonna take it. Get the fuck out of here. I'm good.
Ain't nobody gonna have to take it. If anybody take it, it's voluntary. If they just
yeah. I don't think a lot of people gonna even volunteer. They're gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. No, I'm good.
Just be patient.
Yeah.
All they have to do is be patient. You're gonna be in jail in a minute anyway.
Yeah, because they definitely working on it, all the dirt that's coming out. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis. What were you saying?
They're trying to enforce it here. You know, Newsom wanted 25,000 people tested a day for corona. But they're not telling people, like the scientists say, that if you've had a flu shot ever in your life, you're going to test positive for it.
Yeah, which makes sense. That makes 1,000% sense to me. But here's my thing. If California, y'all living in California, y'all let that bullshit go down, that's the fuck on y'all. Because you're not finna force me. You know what I'm saying? You're not finna force me to take no motherfucking test. You're not finna force me to take no motherfucking vaccine. None of that. And parents, I am telling you now, if you got your youngins in these schools, you know, this shutdown was an opportunity for you to see how to live with a lot of these things that you thought you couldn't live with. And having your babies in that motherfucking school system is one of them. It's one of them. So get prepared. You're going to have to make a decision. If they try to come with that fuck shit that your babies need to get these vaccinations to go to their school or whatever, you're going to have to make some tough decisions. You really are. Now, the good part about all of this, all that shit they've done has fucking backfired. A lot of it has backfired on them because they fucking with the food supply. Yeah. And so people like, oh, okay then, so I see I can't depend on y'all. Okay, so now I'm finna get my shit in order and be on my game. And so now some of the farmers, instead of dumping all of the vegetables and all that milk and shit, a couple of the farmers have literally set they shit up on the road and they sold out in hours, not days. in hours. So I said, and I still stand by what I said. What you are seeing, it is the revolution. That's the revolution for people to change their behavior. So farming is going to totally change. It's going to be different. CEOs are now saying, you know what? Why shouldn't people work from home? Why should parents have to be at work? Literally, CEOs are telling their people, if you don't need to come back to work, don't come back to work. Things are going to totally change. They will never go back to the way they were. Now, the mistake that they made, and I don't know if it was a mistake on purpose or they was trying to be slick, same thing, mistake trying to be slick. I say it was the universe putting things in everybody's favor. Every step that they try to make is going to wind up being for the benefit of people, because it is going to force folks to become self-sufficient, to really understand where your food is coming from on your plate. Now people know how fragile the motherfucking food supply chain is, all of that. The way you earn a quote living on this planet. Now folks are starting to see these things that people like us have been fucking saying for decades. For decades. We didn't just wake up out the motherfucking bed and start talking about this stuff. So this is the revolution. So when I, for the past, since this Rona stuff have been broke out, when I have been saying this is the time for you to create the world that you want, this is what the fuck I'm talking about. You do it with your actions. So it's really a great thing. I'm loving every motherfucking second of it. I love it. So now that's just me personally. That's just me personally.
I'm with you.
Yeah. It ain't doom and gloom for me at all, because we've been telling y'all this shit for, I know since I've been on the air, I've been saying it, and folks that know me know I've been talking about this shit forever. It will never go back the same. It's just not. Uh-huh.
But let's be clear, these people were killed. Ain't nobody died. And then they say the ventilators have been killing a lot of people, the way that they've been using them. So they
that
just been killing people.
Surprise me. Yeah, because even with the mask, I didn't realize that people didn't realize that you just can't be keeping the mask on for no long fucking period of time.
Well,
not at all. They ain't designed for that.
I'm like, damn, people didn't know that. I'm like, damn.
And some of them only last about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, the little blue ones. They're not even doing the job that to protect them against anybody. But like the scientist says, it makes you rebreathe your air of the vaccines that you already have in your system. And you know what? That'll make people think about what the fuck they put in their body. Because you shouldn't be that heavily vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, she's using diseased animals in their vaccines and all kinds of experimental stuff. So I'm like, yikes. I knew it was bad, but when she was finished talking, I said, oh, my God. Yeah, it's deep. It's deep, y'all. But all of this should be a wake-up call across the planet. And I think to some extent it has. Sure, folks have a long way to go. But when they start talking about that motherfucking food supply, yeah, they start.
People that was just criticizing me literally a month ago had to come back and fucking apologize. That was before Rona and all that jumped off. So there is a quiet revolution behind the scenes. Because I don't think anyone thought that fucking meat supply would be cut off. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
People have to realize what a lot of that meat supply actually is. We eating our own damn people. They've been admitted that it's a certain amount of human flesh and all meat products is acceptable by their guidelines.
Yeah.
We know that these people have been cannibals since forever. We had too many people that just come up missing. We know that these people are the first ones to get their hands on the dead body. And we trust them from the time we in the womb to the time we in the tomb.
Exactly.
You know,
that's part of the diet that has to change. So
yeah, that's going to be a huge awakening for folks, Brother Sean. But, oh, well, I'm so glad I detoxed off that shit decades ago. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Everything that's unnatural has to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whoever's still attracted to that lifestyle and still want that type of world, those lower frequencies are always going to exist.
Right.
We just ain't gonna see you going through that bullshit. We moving on.
Yeah.
You can stay exactly where the fuck you at. Everybody ain't meant to go. Can't save everybody. Ain't trying to save everybody. Because either you get your shit together or you fuck.
Yeah.
It's that simple. If you don't know what the fuck going on by now, unfortunately, you're fucked.
Right. Remember that song? If you don't know me by now.
Right. You would never know
if
me.
you don't know me. Exactly. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
You know, I want to parry it on Brother Sean. If they think it's the United States only that is putting human flesh in your food, Canada does it as well, because they had I don't know if we had covered it on the show or I learned it from some other place, but they had vegans that was trying to, file suit against some of the companies, because when they tested their food, it had human substances in it. And they were fighting over, the 20%, 30%, whatever it was that Canada could put in their foods. But I think it was some sausage or something like that. And so it's not just the United States that does that. I'm sure Canada
No,
does.
it's absolutely.
It's
pretty much. It's worldwide.
It's worldwide.
Exactly. And who was saying that in the chat room? Engineer. Oh, that is so cute. I like your screen name. Engineer says Solvent Green. I swear that's what I think about. I promise you. If y'all don't know what we talking about, go watch that movie. It's back up in the day. Soylent Green. I saw that shit decades ago, and just go on and watch the movie. Just go on and watch the movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
But ain't no reason not to know now.
It's really not. It's really not. And before they shut it down, Brother Sean, they was remember they did the study on where meat really comes from. They told you that ground up shit has feces in it and all of that. So it's not they've been done set up and told you what's up with the meat.
Exactly. And adrenochrome, if we really want to talk about that, every piece of meat has it in it because those animals are in fear before
when they get
die.
slaughtered. Yep.
You know, that's why the Jews brag about having kosher. You know, that their animals are humanely killed. Or with the Muslims, that their stuff is halal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the things.
And that's why it's so hard to get off of that meat, too, because that adrenochrome, it's addictive.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Exactly.
And they know that.
I had
but
a lady.
Guess where they learned it from?
Yeah. The Bible.
No, it's not that they learned it from the Bible. It's who did they learn everything from that they know?
Oh.
They daddy? They daddy?
No, I'm just saying, as on a whole, I mean, what...
Racist folks. I know what they
learned it from melanated people.
Yeah, that's why I said they daddy. Exactly, they daddy.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's once again not knowing self is what it's boiling down to. Because none of their games matter if you know who and what you are. Because you know that none of that bullshit pertain to you. And can't none of that shit fuck with you unless you let it.
Right.
It don't keep going on if you don't feed it. Everything is set up to feed off of you in one way or another. But that should be known by now. We shouldn't have to tell nobody that. Right.
And Mr. Tyrese 21 says, excellent point, says the land has been turned into an artificial processing industrial plant since the Brittany arrived. Commerce, absolutely. Because remember, they fucked up their own shit. And their people were starving because they had raped the land of the resources because King James had to put a halt on them motherfuckers cutting down trees. And then it turned into where they couldn't grow on the land, so they started having famine and started having diseases and shit break out. Okay? Plus you had a group of poor folks that didn't know how to wash their motherfucking ass properly, so diseases broke out from there. It was a hot motherfucking mess. It was a hot mess, but that's what happens when you're not in harmony with the earth.
Well, you know,
there are no shortages. They are created. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
They used to bury they didn't bury their dead. They just threw them in trenches where the water is. And they left them out.
Which spreads disease. Which spreads motherfucking disease. How you gonna motherfucking throw a dead body up in the water when you supposed to be putting it back in the ground?
Exactly. And they just had open trenches full of dead people. And when I was looking at this documentary, they say, you see the gentlemen, English gents, where they always use the smelling salt. And you think that they just, being prissy. It was the atmosphere was putrid. The whole atmosphere was putrid of dead bodies.
Stank-a-link. Right. Stank-a-link with some dead motherfucking bodies.
Exactly.
And the Moors and the Brits, they funky asses know better. They know better because when they came through and took over people's shit, the Moors are master builders. They are literally master builders. Those castles and shit you see around the planet, that comes from them. You can look at that ancient map in Africa that I was telling you about. They motherfucking had castles way back then. So I give credit where credit is due. The Moors are master builders. The Romans was great about putting in water filtration systems. So when we get to the next series, we're going to go deep into showing you how the ancestors knew how to use atmospheric energy to use vibrations. So when people talk about the Dark Ages and all that bullshit, to me, from that time period where the kingdom was being switched over from the melanated to putting Caucasians on the throne, to me, that was the start of the quote, Dark Ages, so meaning the bad times. Okay, that's when the planet's vibration start to lower even more, because people are under the impression that this technology that we're using, this motherfucking shit ain't shit. It's not shit. We're still way behind. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
That was the time that the Catholic Church ordered the destruction of books. And I think it lasted probably 1,000 years or 100 years. I forget the numbers. But the Catholic Church ordered all books of knowledge to be destroyed, including Bibles.
Now, it's interesting, sis, because Autodidactic, his little YouTube channel, he had did a thing on the Moors and was showing how melanated Moors were in power. And so in the comments, and I think I read it on the show, where this one person was saying, yeah, they came through and took all people's books with all the beautiful pictures of the melanated kings and queens, took artifacts, took all that shit from them. So, yeah, of course they were going to burn books, and you know they burn all the motherfuckers because the Vatican sitting on that shit, artwork and all that stuff. So all of it wasn't destroyed. They just wanted it in the hands of who they wanted it in, and they didn't want the population to have that information because they recreated the narrative. When they were ready to do the reset for the Caucasian people to take over the thrones, they had to rewrite the script. So, of course, they're going to take away people's material and all of that bullshit.
Yeah, but
and so, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
Everybody couldn't read and write. That was for the privileged.
True.
Because you have to remember, even back then, they had to have people that they were ruling over. They had to have people that they were taking shit from. So, I mean, the era and the color of the colonizer don't matter, like you said. It's just a rewrite of the same script.
Right.
I mean, they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And they don't. They run the same script. We're showing you every week it's the same motherfucking script.
They keep falling for it. Fuck it, keep doing it. Shit, we ain't got to figure nothing else out. Shit,
Exactly.
I mean, we got the script handed to us. All we got to do is just stick to the script, and everything is wonderful.
Right. And it's interesting. There is this YouTube channel. What is his name? I want to say it's Adapt 2040. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, Blood talks about, he's on YouTube. He talks about the solar cycle minimum. So this is the second year I've been listening to Dude, and he has been dead on about the cycles of the sun and how these different places were going to start getting colder. He was also telling people, get your shit together The food supply is going to get tight, this, that, and the third. He even, he said he had pulled down the sun cycles and showed how, based on how when the sun cycle is low, how places get colder and how the migration of the people move to warmer climates. So he said something told him about 3 years ago to pull that data to his personal files and not rely on getting it from the internet. Because he said today you can't even get that shit on the internet. They scrubbed it. So basically what it showed is that they knew, China and them motherfucking stinking asses knew that China is about to go up under ice. So that's why they're buying up land in Africa. They had a stinking ass over in Africa. They have huge agricultural spots over in Africa. And also that's why they snatched up that land in Cali for agricultural. So a lot of these, oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to stay there. I really don't.
They can't. Not be having that corona shit. They're like, oh, you motherfuckers. They know who sent that shit over there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Africans are waking up, and they're like, no, y'all gonna have to get the fuck on with that. So I don't even think they're gonna be able to stay there. I totally agree with you, Brother Sean. So yeah, they knew that this was coming. They knew that the pole shifts were coming. They knew that it was going to intertwine with the way weather jumps off. And thank you, Sis Cheryl. She sent me a reminder that Brother Kalai put out another video about that red iron oxide dust kicking up. And I don't know about where you all are, but where I'm at, it didn't do it tonight, but all of late last week, early this week, as the sun rise, sky red as fuck. Sky coming up, red as fuck. So these are the things that mainstream media will never tell you. They'll never tell you that. But they'll keep pushing Rona, killer bees, this, that, this, and the third when there are major planetary shifts going on right before you. And it is changing not only the physical of Mother Earth, but it is also changing you physically, individually. None of this shit is going back to the way it is. So, you know, you have a choice. Your own destiny is literally in your hands, and it is your responsibility.
Did you hear that they're expecting snow in the Northeast this weekend, Mother's Day?
Yeah, we're in the Northeast.
Yep, they're expecting snow.
Yeah.
Big storm. It was on today.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck? It's gonna
be because
it's not
going to go ahead, sis. Yeah, we like, lolly lee lee. What you say, sis?
We're gonna have 90 something. You guys are gonna have snow. Is that an extreme cut?
No.
Yeah. Not. Yeah, we like, oh well, you know, well, and exactly. Yep. So people better get their dependency because they have already told you. I don't even fault they. I don't even fault them no more at this point because they done fucking told you over and over again. They don't give a fuck. No fucks are given. You on your own. If I feel like breaking you off a piece of change to help you, I will. Well, you about to drown? Oh, okay. Well, I send my boys in them when I fucking feel like it. So that's on you. if you're putting your life and your family's life in their quote, quote, hands, that's fucking on you.
It's property. You worth more dead than alive anyway.
Exactly. No fucks are given on their part.
They make it in this system. They profit off of you, period. As long as you're in the system, they profit one way or the other.
Absolutely.
That even means when you tired of working or ain't got no job and you pray to God, they got you all the way around the board. You still within their system. They take all your energy physically, having you do this physical labor, then emotionally and spiritually, you give it all to Jesus and God. What you got left?
Exactly.
But
exactly.
To me, that means fuckery, though.
Yes, go ahead, Brother Sean. Yes.
They say first it was Adam and Eve, right? And they created everybody. But when their boy got sent out, he married somebody. And you had a great flood. And Noah and his peoples feed the earth. Where the 13 bloodlines come from then? Where everybody else comes from? Why are there so many people still here if it was left up to Noah and his family and the animals he had on there? How does that explain anything that's going on today? I mean, I just sit up and I just think about shit like that. I mean, wouldn't we all be related if the planet was preceded by Noah and his family?
You know?
I'm just saying, that's just a horrible thought that we all related, and I just think of some of the things that I've done personally, and to think that I've done that with a relative. Ew. I'm just saying, if we go by that philosophy, you know, how they say that that book is 100% true, and, you know, every word of it is 100% true. I mean,
I think it was describing just one bloodline and their motherfucking tree. That's just me. It's describing one bloodline, their tree, because that whole Noah stuff, when we lined that up with the not the book of the book of Enoch, that I'm like, okay, now this shit makes a lot more sense. So that was describing one bloodline, but people have attached themselves to that bloodline. Now, if you of that bloodline, that's your business, not trying to down you or anything, but that does not apply to the entire planet. It just doesn't.
I agree. Trust me, I agree. But I'm just saying that's the fuckery people fall for, though, thinking that Noah and his family reseeded the whole planet after God washed everything away with a great flood.
But there were some people, Cain's people were saved. Remember that? They saved themselves.
They went to the mountains or something like that. But other ancient texts said that that the DNA of the species was taken and all of that jazz. So,
I mean, trust me, okay. I understand all that.
You know I know is what I'm trying to say, and I'm sorry because it is what it is, you know.
But you know,
Sorry, go ahead, sis.
I think what I was thinking the other day is that the EGGs escaped. Remember that? They got away. Plus, Inky had two creations, the first two that he didn't destroy, they got away as well.
So, again, to me, that adds to fuckery, because, I mean, it's all-knowing, all-powerful God, let motherfuckers escape. I mean, if it wasn't, if the whole earth was covered and it wasn't a bit of land, where the mountain come from, the dude and them was chilling on. Because when Noah sent them birds out, they wasn't seeing shit at first.
Right. Right. Yep, the birds didn't see shit. Right. Right. So and not only that, we we know that the God that they were talking about, if you line it up with the book of the Lost Book of Inky, was Anu. So he was a being. He wasn't no all-powerful father. He was just the being. He was the father of Inky and Leo Nim.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, and again, everyone is free to believe what they want to believe. You know, I have no qualms with you. Do your thing, boo. You know, all I'm saying is I'm not associating myself with that fuckery. Now, that's just me personally, because they had too much motherfucking fucked up shit. Everything they touch turns to shit. They ain't got it right yet. They came from their galaxy, couldn't even run their own shit right. Like I said, if you can't run your own household, how the fuck you gonna run something else? They couldn't even get their own shit right. They destroyed their own atmosphere and came here with the fuckery. So I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
But what I was thinking too is they never told you what the Ajiji looked like, did they? I don't remember them ever saying what the Ajiji looked like.
I don't know, sis.
But I
don't know. I would have to go back.
They were slaves. They had the mentality.
Yeah, we do know that according to the ancient text. We do know that they were slaves.
They got away. There was like 200 or so got away. And then they went, and Marduk married that girl, and they went to the wedding of that, and then they start taking wives too. So this is where it gets bizarre. When Tutankhamun is being paraded, you know how they always show him in different countries? Most of the people that show up, I don't even know if the man is or the body is going to be there, but the white people know he's going to be there. And they go and honor him in reverence.
The white people know who finna be there. Tutankhamun.
Yeah, when the sarcophagus is going around, they know. It was thousands of them showed up when they had it, I think, a couple of years ago. So nobody says what color the EGGs were. They don't say anything about the distinguishing marks on the EGGs. Nothing.
So, and here's my thing, and great point, Purple Pill, because I don't want to lose what you say. Shout out to you, Purple Pill. Blog Talk was on some fuckery, so the little chat room can't even open it tonight. Nu. So he's breaking down the word Anunnaki. Nu equals water. Anu equals mother. Abu equals father.
Yeah. Abba, father.
So, I mean, Purple said, I don't think they are galactic. Be careful. And they might not be, Purple. They might not be galactic. They might certainly not be. They just could have truly understood the use of the technology. So meaning they knew how to leverage Mother Earth's natural technology. So I'm with you on that. I'm even open for that. 1,000% agree with you. 1,000% agree with you. And that's my whole point. You know, people attach themselves to these things and identify them as, you know, their particular lineage and bloodline, and that's cool. Do you, boo? But in the words of Purple, be careful. Be careful. Because something devastating happened on this planet that took it from a high vibrational state to this shit that we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
People are getting caught up so much in quote-unquote technology when you still have the most state-of-the-art, the most sophisticated shit to ever be made.
Bring it.
And you ain't figured that out.
Yep.
A quantum computer can't do what half of your brain power can do.
It can't even touch it. Exactly. Matter of fact, they base that shit off of you.
I mean, if an atom is responsible for creating the universe, and your body is all atoms, what the fuck you worried about anything for?
Right.
Why are you sitting up still, being dumbed down, learning about everything but you?
Outside of self. Right. Right.
If you don't get off into the sciences, get off into that to figure out how to do some other shit. Open up dimensions, different dimensions. All type of other shit. You know, the shit that you see on Marvel Comics and this, that, and the other.
Right. Because they basing that shit on you. Exactly.
Right. They trying to figure out how to do it with everything else.
Yeah.
And you're capable of doing it within your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
But we focus on all the wrong things. We think that they have all the power. And when they, quote unquote, come up with something spectacular, it's just something minor that we used to do.
Right.
And
exactly.
We fascinated by dumb shit.
Real dumb shit.
I just look at the 4th of July. Motherfuckers around sitting on firecrackers and blowing up shit and excited by that.
Yeah.
They celebrating bombing your monkey ass. And now you want to celebrate with them, thinking this shit blowing up is something all nice and about your independence.
Right.
It's about their independence and them blowing your black ass up. But
right.
That's a whole different story. I digress.
Yeah, shout out to my millennial sis out in Vegas. And we're going to get into this in the next series, but shit, y'all go on and check this motherfucking shit out so you can be prepared. Now, if you have HBO, I done already talked about Westworld. Check that out. I'm still not caught up. I think I'm on season 3. But Amazon Prime, if you have Amazon Prime, they released something called upload. That motherfucker, let me tell you, watch it. Watch it. Because it is purely about soul consciousness. And I took and told y'all where they were going with it. And when I saw that shit come up, I said, they can't be talking about what the fuck I think they talking about. Sure enough, I watched that shit. I'm like, oh, okay. That's where I thought they were going with it. All of this is about your soul consciousness. And these beings that cannot operate at the higher realms, they know that mama is rising. So they fucking scrambling, trying to create these artificial lower level realms, and they finna make folk feel, or try to make folk feel, real comfy cozy in the artificial realm. So if you all get a chance, when we go to the next series, we're going to bring in a lot of that stuff. But upload, that motherfucker is, woo, that's all I can say. It is purely about soul consciousness. Purely. And the afterlife. I just could not believe they were putting that shit right out in plain sight. They're telling you what they're trying to do. But you do these things naturally, innately. You're already automatically able to do these things. And a lot of you don't realize that you're doing it just for the simple fact every night you lay down and quote, quote, go to sleep. You're doing it naturally because your soul is doing it, your soul consciousness. Nothing happens outside of self. So when you look outside of self for somebody to do something for you, whatever the case may be, you fuck yourself every time. And that's how people get caught in these cycles of what they're calling, quote, quote, time. It's because they're going on these journeys looking for something outside of self. So, but yeah, check that out if you can. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Upload. It is really, really a trippy thing. And it's exactly where I said they were going with the bullshit. Exactly. So, all right. So real quick, I'm going to go into, Sis Cheryl had posted this article earlier this week. Evidence, and this is off of NBC News. When was this posted? I don't know when this was posted, y'all. Oh, this was April 2nd. Evidence of 90 million year old rainforest uncovered beneath Antarctic ice. The findings suggest that Earth's southernmost continent was once home to temperate, swampy rainforests teeming with life. Now, the picture that they chose to put for the cover picture, in the background, I see a motherfucking ancient tree that was cut down. Plain as day. All right, here we go. Antarctica is now a harsh land of ice and snow, but has not always been that way. Earth's southernmost continent long ago was home to temperate, swampy rainforests teeming with life. Scientists said on Wednesday, based on pristine, preserved forest soil they retrieved by drilling underneath the seafloor off Antarctica's coast. All right, so I want to remind the family that I think Autodidactic or either John Levy did a YouTube show using the ancient map of Antarctica, showing where Antarctica was not covered with ice and how Iceland was named Island or something like that. It showed vegetation. It showed where people had castles, all of that. Now, that was off the motherfucking ancient maps. The same cat that made the Africa ancient map showing white people having the kingdoms and white creatures under the earth and other type of mixed up sea creatures. All right? The sediment core obtained by scientists working aboard the research icebreaker RV Polarstern in the Amundsen Sea near the Pine Island Glacier dated to about 90 million years ago during the Cretaceous period when dinosaurs were the dominant land animals. Now, I don't believe that last motherfucking sentence. That's just me. I don't believe that 90 million years, and I don't believe that dinosaur shit. Now, that's just me, okay, because we know they play with timelines. All right, but anyway, the researchers estimated based on the soil content that this location, so I'm finna take a jab, and I know it's being petty, but I got to take a jab. So, Bible, where does 6,000 motherfucking years come into play? I'm just saying. All right, so I'm going to go ahead on. The researchers estimated, based on the soil content, that this location, 560 miles from the South Pole, experienced average annual temperatures of about 53 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and average temperatures during the warmest summer months of about 68 to 77. That is exceptionally warm for a location near the South Pole, where the average annual temperature now is around 40 Fahrenheit. Around minus 40 Fahrenheit. A modern temperature analog may be New York City, according to marine geologist Johann Klaggs of the Alfred Weiner Institute's Helmholtz Center for Polar and Marine Research in Germany, lead author of the research published in the journal Nature. Okay, so they're trying to compare the temperature to New York City. Okay, well, all right. Anyway, the dark brownish gray soil was composed of fine-grained silt and clay-bearing remains of fossil roots in a dense network, pollen and spores spanning 65 types of plants with individual cell structures clearly visible. If you would go to a forest near you and drill a hole, it would probably look similar. Clegg said the plants include conifers, ferns, and flowering plants. Now, that's interesting because I did hear that ferns, which I love ferns. I think they're a beautiful plant. I heard they're old as fuck. So that's interesting that they're saying ferns showed up. While they did not find any animal remains, Clegg said there likely were dinosaurs, flying reptiles, and many insects. Dinosaur fossils from Antarctica have been known for years. The soil came from nearly 90 feet beneath the seafloor ocean depths of about 33,000 feet. It was obtained using a seafloor drill. The research underscores the dramatic climate change Earth has undergone in the past and is currently undergoing today. The soil core sample dates from 93 million to 83 million years ago. This date from the planet's warmest period of the past 140 million years, with the sea level of about 560 feet higher than today. The rainforest environment is all the more remarkable, the researchers said, considering that the region annually experiences a 4-month polar night when there is no sunlight to nurture plant life. Clegg said no ice sheets were present at the time, though seasonal snowfall was likely. All right. Thanks, Sis Cheryl. That was a damn good article. So that's off of NBCnews.com. Evidence of 90-million-year-old rainforest uncovered beneath Antarctic ice. So there you have it. They trying to flat say that the shit is in the process of switching up again. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
I'm going to take dinosaurs to mean giants.
I would go for that.
Because we know they lied about all that. I mean,
exactly.
When they started coming over here, they were still finding giant fruits and vegetables.
Yep.
They got it in black and white photos.
Yep, and we read it in the books when we was doing the motherfucking giant series.
Right. So, I mean...
Absolutely.
I can believe that we go back that many million years. But
I agree. No, but not the bloodline they talk about in that Bible, if the Bible is accurate. Exactly.
The only thing I could figure it to mean is when them things got here. Now, as far as the witch things, to me, that's anything that's not indigenous to Mama, and I don't care. I
agree.
What color or what.
I really don't.
Or how much melanin you got. I mean, just because you melanated, I mean, we see that every day. That it don't matter if you're melanated. I mean, melanated people gonna go after another melanated person before they will anybody else.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just wonder if that's instinctive to know who the true rightful heirs are. I mean, why even waste my time robbing white people when they really don't own shit anyway?
That's a good point.
But
true.
That's putting too much thought into it.
Yeah, but
I feel you.
Dinosaurs
Go ahead,
and things are in the Bible. They are in there in the Bible. It's been mentioned, Leviathan. And
and so are the giants.
So that's a dragon.
They mentioned
a dragon. That's a serpent. I mean, dragon, serpent.
They also mentioned people that were giants.
Of course, Noah was a giant.
Right. Yep, Noah was a giant.
Elias was
a giant. Yes. Now, remember when I told you I was reading that article, they have a picture, and the picture in the background, they have the damn ancient tree where you could see where it was cut down.
Right.
You know,
it is what it is. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
They have a book called The Book of Adam and Eve, and God, what is that man that used to come on? He was always scientific. He was a white man. He came on. He was talking about the Book of Adam and Eve, and what he said is there was a giant tree, and when they fell, he said they came out of the cave and they were at the roots of the tree. In that Book of Adam and Eve, I think it was chapter 1. BB, what was his name? BB. Oh gosh, I forget his name.
No.
It was. He used to always be, telling people what's coming ahead. And he was talking about Nibiru and Jupiter and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember his name. It escapes me right now. But he was saying there's a lot of books out of the Bible they took. The Catholic Church took them out because they don't want you to know this stuff. And and the book of Adam and Eve, I'm sure that's probably one of them they took out. And he was reading that Adam and Eve was at the top of the tree when they were eating the fruit. And then they went to sleep and they came out of a cave and they were at the bottom of it. So to me, it sounded like they shrunk.
Well,
BP
there you have it.
That was BP
What's
Earth.
his name?
BP
BP Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, family. So there you have it. Real quick, and then we're going to get into the topic. This is a follow-up when we were talking about BlackRock. So this came off of CNN Business. Let me see, did I get this from somebody or did I find it?
I sent something to you about that. My son did. BlackRock?
No, I actually found that, but okay. This is from CNN. The Federal Reserve unfroze the corporate credit markets without even firing a shot. On March 23rd, the Fed dramatically stepped up its efforts to prevent a coronavirus depression by promising to set up the first ever special entity to buy corporate bonds and ETFs. The U.S. Central Bank later added junk bonds and junk bond ETFs to the list of assets that would get scooped up. That promise had a profound impact. Even though the U.S. Central Bank has not yet directed the purchase of a single corporate bond, the Fed's words alone help restore corporate America's access to borrowing markets. Even troubled companies slammed the pandemic, such as Carnival, Boeing, and Ford, were able to borrow large sums of money. Central banks are sometimes as effective in their words as they are with actual action, said Peter Bachfar, Chief Investment Officer at Bleakley Advisory Group. Launched in early May. Action is coming soon. The New York Fed, which is quarterbacking the Fed's bond buying programs, announced Monday that the secondary market corporate credit facilities is expected to begin buying corporate bonds, ETFs, in early May. Corporate bonds purchases will come soon thereafter. And a separate Fed facility, the primary market corporate credit facility, is also expected to launch. But the Fed has not actually begun to buy bonds yet, despite the dramatic impact on the market. In a tweet on Friday, billionaire investor Jeffrey Gundlach called it the most effective job-owning success in Fed history. The goal of the programs, according to the Fed, is to make sure large employers have access to credit they need to ride out this unprecedented storm. The availability of credit has contracted for corporations and other issues of debt, while at the same time, the disruptions to economic activity have heightened the need for companies to obtain financing, the Fed said in a FAQ online. To participate in the Fed program, businesses must have been created or organized in the United States or under U.S. law and have a majority of their employees in the United States. However, there is no requirement for companies to take advantage of the Fed's bond buying program to keep workers. All right, so let me read that again. However, there is no requirements for companies that take advantage of the Fed bond buying program to keep workers, nor are these companies required to suspend stock buybacks or dividends. Fallen angels are welcome. I found it interesting for them to use that title, but here we go. The Fed originally said participants in the corporate bond buying facility must have at least a BBB credit rating as of March 22nd. That's the lowest rung of investment grade. All right, y'all. So can you walk up in the bank with a low-ass credit score and get you some credit? No, you can't. But anyway, however, it later opened the program to fallen angels, which are investment-grade companies that have been dropped into junk territory. There were 101 billion worth of downgrades into junk territory during the first quarter, according to Fitch Ratings. Prominent fallen angels included Ford, Kraft Heinz, and Occidental Petroleum. Right? So y'all should know that Kraft Heinz is tied to what's old boy? I could see his face plain this day. He ran against presidency against O in the second term, the tall dude with the bushy ass hair. That's his old lady and them company, Kraft Heinz. Anyway, not all junk-related rated companies can participate. Firms must be rated at least a BB minus at the date of the purchase. So now let's be clear, family. BB is a shitty credit rating score. Don't think in terms of A meaning excellent, B meaning good. Now, B, with these business credit ratings, if you are a B, you got some fucked up business credit, all right? Now, in the 2008 crisis, another reason why it was so widespread because the company that scores business credit ratings were not bumping the people down to B's like they were supposed to. They were keeping their credit ratings at A's when they should have been B's. All right, so critics argue the Fed is overstepping its mandate by purchasing corporate bonds, a step it never took during the 2008 financial crisis. Gunlatch said the Fed is using a shell company set up to circumvent the Federal Reserve Act, which created the U.S. central banks. The Federal Reserve Act prohibits the Fed from buying corporate assets. To get around that problem, the Fed is setting up a special purpose vehicle managed by BlackRock to do the buying. The central bank cited unusual and exit circumstances that authorized the Fed under Section 13-3 of the Federal Reserve Act to conduct broad-based lending facilities. Still, the Fed will be the one calling the shots. The Fed website said BlackRock will be acting as the sole direction of the New York Fed on behalf of the facilities. It's terrible what they are doing. The Fed did a complete runaround on the Federal Reserve Act, said Brockvar, the Bleakley Advisory Group CIO. Let me make sure if I want to read any more of this. Okay, difficult to unwind beyond legal questions. Some fear the Fed's emergency steps will set a dangerous precedent that could be hard to undo when this crisis is over. The problem with the Fed involvement is it becomes a slippery slope. They get more and more involved with more and more debt. Then you run into a recession and everyone is worried about debt. Consider what happened with the quantitative easing. The Fed's 2008 era experimented with the buying of U.S. Treasuries and mortgage securities. The purchases inflated the Fed's balance sheet to $4.5 trillion by 2014, compared with just over $9 billion in 2007. The Fed was never able to significantly shrink that balance sheet without rattling markets. And then the coronavirus pandemic struck. Now the Fed's balance sheet has climbed to a record $6.7 trillion, and analysts expected it would soon climb to $10 trillion. It is just a perpetual cycle that we cannot seem to get rid of. All right, now this was off of CNN. When did this shit come out? It came out this week, y'all. May 4th. May 4th. I'm going to refresh your memory on this BlackRock shit. This came from Russia Insider. Bear with me here. Got to bring it up, so bear with me, family. Mm-hmm. Yes, I sent this to your son. We're back and forth. So him and I sent this to him. Yeah, him and I were talking back and forth on it. All right, Russian Insider. This huge Jewish finance firm just took over the U.S. Treasury and fed BlackRock. Now, they put this out on Monday. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, Monday, March 30th. In less than a week, the Federal Reserve has been merged with the U.S. Treasury, implying it wasn't always that way. And BlackRock, the world's largest and most powerful financial service institution, has been put in charge of executing future acquisitions and trades. Who is BlackRock? What do they own? And perhaps more importantly, what and who do they control? Jazz and James dived into BlackRock and uncover a significant portion of the apparatus by which U.S. politics are controlled and manipulated. So now there's an audio on this. I highly, highly recommend you listening to the audio, because they pretty much, and sis, you can back me up on this, you listen to it, they pretty much said that melanated people are going to be put in as heads of these corporations. That's what they said. And are going to be running it. All right? Mm-hmm. So I highly recommend you go listen to this video. Again, this is off of Russian Insider. It came out Monday, March 30th. It's called "This Huge Jewish Finance Firm Just Took Over the U.S. Treasury and Fed." All right? So they were right on spot. So CNN just made it public that BlackRock gonna be running shit. So shout out to them gentlemen, because they brought the receipts, and now the shit is public. So again, that just proves that all of this shit is fuckery, it's bankrupt, it's all an illusion, whatever the case may be. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
You remember that saying, if you're white, you're right, and if you're black, you get back. And so now it's kind of like switched around. If you're black, you're right. If you're white, get back. So, because they pretty much said, those guys, that Mike or whatever his name was, he said in there, clear cut, if you ain't Jew, black, or brown, you can forget.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. So I highly recommend y'all go ahead on and check that little video out. It's audio only, and it's only 37 minutes. It's not long. They dropped a lot of jewels in there, but it lines up with what they fucking trying to do, is do another reset. And I told y'all last year that they were lining up for melanated people to take back over. Because I specifically told the motherfucking Moors, you niggas will never get it back. And I still say that. You're not going to get back what you think you're going to get back. Now, you'll get it back, and y'all can run it at a lower level realm, but the sweet nectar of the good stuff with Mama Earth, that shit is over with, niggas. It's over with. That shit is over with. You all are going to rule in an artificial realm. I'm going to fucking say this again. You are going to rule in an artificial realm. It will not be natural. It's not going to be on a higher vibrational realm. That's what this reset is going to be about. It's it's going to be a splitting of the realms as well. Kerry, that's his name, Purple Peel. That's the Heinz motherfucking ketchup connection. Kerry, thank you, Purple Peel. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean. Did you have something to put on it?
It's about signing on to a new deal.
Exactly.
I mean, because melanated people are put at the head of the corporations.
Yep.
You're a figurehead. It's not your corporation. You're just being put at the head of it.
Right.
Now they finna try and do to you what you say you did to them. You put them in power while you went to sleep. So now I guess they figure they gonna go to sleep and they gonna get temporary power back to y'all.
Exactly.
So, I'm guessing that's the 1,000 years of peace.
I think so too, Brother Sean.
I'm thinking
they
it's
said don't throw away. They said don't throw away the Bible. So I mean, you know, they say it's all theirs anyway. They said everything is more science. So I mean, it's all.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
It's all their stuff, and it's, I guess, according to their clock of destiny, it's all coming full circle. So, if it's coming full circle, and you're stuck in that circle, that means that you got to fall again.
Right. Oh, damn, that's a perfect analogy. That motherfucking circle, because I keep talking about the loop, but the circle is another great example. You're absolutely right.
I don't fit inside nothing. Circle, square, triangle.
Exactly.
I don't fit in none of that shit. That's all stuff that was created.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People fall more in love with creations.
Yeah, they do.
They create shit and then fall in love with it and forget that they created it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And treat it as an equal and love it and tell it it has rights that it doesn't have. But
exactly.
I digress.
Absolutely. Damn, I had it and then I lost it. Shit, I had a good point too, y'all. Damn it, I forgot. It'll come back to me. Oh well. All right, brother 832. Here we go with this. I don't know if you being tracked. We finna try this again. YouTube family, y'all know what time it is. If we start to drop, it is what it is. But I will start back up the feed tonight. So hopefully they not messing with 832 tonight. And then we'll come back to it. I know. That's true. I take it back. It is what it is. All right, brother 832. Okay, peace and love, brother.
Sandra, my sisters from other vistas. Feathers up.
Feathers up, brother.
United
up, brother.
States of America down. Sean, my brother from another mother, sitting on Mount Olympus, throwing them black lightning bolts down tonight. And you say I'm on the Black Identity Extremist Terrorist Watch List?
I don't know about all that, brother. I don't know, but you got them alphabet boys zapping your shit. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to stay in the context of what you said, though. You brought it up this time. The last time we had this problem because I brought up the Black rocks. That is plural, correct?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Shoot, I shut the article down. But I'll take your word for it. You roll with it. You want me to bring it back up, or you good with it?
You can. I mean, you can, but I just wanted to use that for the jump off. Black rocks, plural, is this financial enterprise that I don't know why. Is it because it was the Russian insiders, or was it CNN? They had to bring up the Jewish connection. But it's very interesting how when monetary discussions direct in that fashion, they start screaming anti-Semitism. But
true.
You're not a Semite. First, you're not a Semite, and they say that among
True that.
themselves. You are
right.
the tribe of Khazar. You are an Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi, but okay. So Black Rock, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, is the military contractor's black operation. Is that not? Black Rocks, plural, runs the money. Black Rock pulls the trigger. Okay, what is the Black Rock in the center of the Moorish world, the Muslim world?
Well.
The Kabbalah of the Kabbalah, Sean. Please, keep me on track. What is the Black Rock?
That cube, the Kabbalah.
What is this supposed to?
Exactly. It's that cube.
Okay. So Black Rock, the Black Rock. Should we throw the goo back in here again one more time?
Go for it, brother.
Should I rewind with
a
movie review? Who's Siskel? Who's Zebra? Should I rewind with Venom, Sean?
Yeah.
Go on, do you, boo?
The sentient goop and the origin of dark matter. What's that sister's name? Is that another sister that came up with dark matter in NASA's frame? And she created not only the concept, but the understanding. If I'm not mistaken, how many nines you need to go? 99.9999. What is it? The actual universe is encompassing, or is the fundamental building structure of the entire cosmos, is this, what do you call it? The Oort cloud? Was it the Oort cloud? O-O-O-R-T?
Yep. Yep, that is correct. Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, so I might be wandering a bit here. I'm not trying to stay in the context of the blackness. Maybe hit me on the rewind. Could you bring the sound of blackness in the background?
I think I have that. I'll rock out with that tonight. Exactly.
Okay. So one more time. Black Rocks, plural, is what is the figure they threw around in that article? Was it 70 trillion, 100 in assets in control worldwide of this financial entity, which on paper, we just had, they call it CARES, the Coronavirus Assistance Relief, some crap they tried to sound like.
I didn't know that's what
CARES.
that was. Okay, I didn't know that was the acronym. Child, I can't with these people, but go ahead on, brother.
Yeah, well, Sandra might go and correct me on what the actual acronym breaks down to, but that is the CARES
I don't
Act,
think I
which
put
we call.
it down.
Yeah, that's what the stimulus relief bill, supposedly the coronavirus assistance,
some covert
emergency, some bullshit, whatever. Emergency.
Yeah,
right.
Okay, so 2.2 trillion was passed in the stimulus recovery relief bill. The same time, not out of the mouth of Steve Mnuchin, out of Larry Kudlow, who is the economic advisor to the president. And you probably saw this stuff. He's the only one that said that the Fed was authorized off book to do $4 trillion. And he's the only one that used out of his mouth in the immediate press conference that $6 trillion was in play. Not the $500 billion that CNN and everybody kept focusing on, Mnuchin having control over $500 billion. And they went all, ape shit and said we need to have, oversight. And the very next day, Trump then removed the inspector general. The very next day. who was responsible for overseeing the $2.2 trillion passed by Congress into law, but not a peep on double of that amount authorized under the Fed to turn the printing machine on, off the hook, 24 hours a day. And again, could you correct me? What is that $4 trillion spurt you say? Through black rocks as the state. That is what you were saying, right? Because I think the point that you were raising of the article is that under the law, which we still don't seem to know what is the law that covers the Federal Reserve Act,
right.
they cannot own corporate entities, assets, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You know what they used to call that? What, financial products? Isn't that little nebulous phrase they use to describe? But so what is this $4 trillion? We're speculating. Everything we're asking and talking about here is speculating because we're waiting on Master Charlie to tell us what's off book and on the book. What's on the record?
Right.
Everything is off the record.
Right.
So can we speculate on this? How much airline stock are we talking, John? Did you hear what the next day after that, what he gave the bird to Mnuchin, the guy who was the CEO of Boeing, when he came to him with $17 billion. Why did he do that, John? Because he said, I'll be damned if you have stock options and ownership in Boeing, the number one manufacturer of airplanes on the planet. But then, some kind of way, it went quiet. He got pulled to the woodshed, and over here in the back door, maybe he got $20 billion. When in public, he put the flip the birds. How dare you to come here? That's stupid. Who got money out of the first round of $350 billion? Ruth Chris Steakhouse?
Yeah.
LA Lakers got almost $5 billion. Harvard University.
Harvard.
What did the small businesses get?
Nothing.
Not black rocks.
Nothing.
They got kick rocks. Kick rocks.
They sure
rocks.
did. Told them to kick rocks, baby.
And had to come back with a round two, which just recently passed, which is another $250 billion that they had to then say, no, you greedy corporate motherfuckers that are publicly traded, got venture capitalists on the stock market.
Right.
You can't come at this.
Right.
Now this is we have played out in our face. Not counting the separate $500 billion that Mnuchin is sitting over that's supposed to go to those major big boys corporate, right?
Right.
So we got this shit going over here with the left hand, and what's going on with the right hand with the $4 trillion with the Fed. Now again, I don't know. I'm not in the financial world. I'm just proposing. I'm speculating. Everything I'm saying, I don't know what's fucking about. This is what I heard. Okay.
Right.
I heard. Are you familiar with the repo market?
Yes. Yeah. I know where you're going with that, but go ahead on with it, bro. Yep.
The repo market is the night transaction, ledger to ledger, bank to bank, overnight, where they have to cook the. I'm gonna use the phrase they use. They have to cook the books to level off each night transactionally. That's something like $75 billion, if I'm not mistaken. The Fed is papering over that every night. So what are we saying? We're saying the Fed is papering over the banks whose shit is ragged. Right.
What happened? Right.
Okay. What happened the first quarter of coronavirus, COVID-19, America, and the stock market? What did Jamie Dimon say, the largest bank in America, JP Morgan Chase? What did they say about their first quarter's return? They did unexpected profit, right? I think you mentioned that before, Sean. A few weeks ago. How is that possible? How is that possible when the stock market was going in the tank? Literally, the last week of February dropped 3,500 points, wrapping up African American, Black, Negro, Nigger History Month. When the first cliff they ran over. Okay? Then, in the course of March through April, they just peaked just above 30,000 one day. I forgot which was. It was the week before the fall off and the last week of Friday. They had just hit their peak, right? Almost 30,000. And then dropped to where he got it the day that Obama walked out of the White House at 19 and some change, whatever that was. There was over 10,000 point drop in the stock market, first quarter, that shit happened, and the number one bank in the nation profits were up.
Yeah.
I still, I don't know. I'm not a financial whiz. I have no clue on how this shit works. I'm just repeating what I heard. Okay?
Yep.
In addition, you now have $4 trillion off book that the Fed is doing what with? Okay. What are the toxic corporate stocks if no planes are flying? Mickey's ass is in lockdown under the jail. Okay, he ain't doing pedophile anymore. Remember about those conspiracy theories circulating about those underground tunnels in Disneyland?
Yeah.
So Mickey ain't getting his swirl on. And Disney, I told, again, what I heard when they told Eisner to come back after he supposedly stepped down as chairman of the year, was losing $30 million a day. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm just repeating some shit. Okay?
Right.
What is going on with Marriott, Hilton? Name some of the big chains.
No, you're right.
WY,
You're right.
And the major casinos.
All the big hotels. Exactly.
Okay. What's going on?
Exactly.
Almost zero occupancy. Ford and GM. I'm just pointing out examples here. Now, again, I don't have answers. I'm just making observations here. Ford and GM in the last 30 days actually made 0 automobiles.
Yep.
How does that work?
Yep.
Do you see what I'm pointing out here now? So with these, now we're not talking about companies. We're not talking about corporate. We're talking about industries.
Exactly.
And let's throw another log on this fire. Closing bell of futures contracts for oil was $10 and a penny for the first day of May. We're just 1 week in. The closing price was like $12 and some change, maybe $12.80 for June future prices of barrel of oil. 1 day's trading alone was almost $40. How do you pay a motherfucker $37 a barrel to take your oil?
Yeah, because remember it went negative. Yeah, remember it went negative. Exactly.
And most the average people do not understand what a negative inversion means.
They don't get it.
If you have negative interest rate, that means the bank is paying you to
take money. Exactly. Which they said they might have to do.
How does that work?
Exactly. But didn't Greece and Italy have negative interest rates before they shit went bust? But we don't know what we're talking about, so whatever.
No, I'm not even going to COVID-19. I'm just talking about the ongoing backdrop here. Okay, now of course for public consumption, to keep people in literal house arrest and motherfucking lockdown, you have terrorism, because that's what's going on. Domestic terrorism is scaring the fuck out of 360 million so-called United States citizens to be in a holding pattern.
Right.
Okay? But all this financial shit is still going on. The stock market, they said, this is another shocking thing to hear, now remember, it's been dropped to 19,000 from a high of 29,000. Then they're going to have the nerve to say in the last month, which means April, we just completed, which is the peak of getting to where we are with these deaths, and now we're over 1 million plus confirmed cases of COVID-19 Americans. They had the best month of activity in 33 years. Now, can you explain that shit to me? You just dropped off a motherfucking cliff by 10,000 points. And you're going to tell me going from 19 to 23,000 is huge. You know what the biggest is? We like to say huge. What the fuck?
Yep. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's some bullshit. Exactly.
Yeah.
So cooking the books, as I said, revert back to the phrase, cooking the books. Is the Federal Reserve. Them motherfucking printing machines. Like, remember those cartoons of the fucking Roadrunner and shit and Wile E. Coyote? Them motherfuckers' legs, you couldn't see because it was a blur. It was moving so fast. Remember them old videos we used to watch of them print? printing out them sheets of motherfucking paper and shit that we call.
Yep,
That
that's how they
money.
roll in that printing press. Yep.
Man, that motherfucker is
it's some bullshit. Yeah, agreed.
Circling back to Black Rocks, which is very interesting. They chose that as the name of the financial interests of the controlling nature. Which,
Blackwater,
by the way,
Blackwater.
Blackwater is the military one. Yeah.
Okay. So, correct me, please, sister, because I want to be on track. I want to be active with it. So, are you any of you familiar with the House of Payseur? If you got a Google or a browser open, Sister Sandra, or Payseur. Now, everybody likes to throw the word Rothschild, Rockefeller, and then you wrap them together with
baby. See, that's why. God damn it! I love my family. Y'all some smart motherfuckers. Go ahead on. I'm bringing it up. Keep on going.
You bringing it up?
That's Payseur. So if we're going to have any future forward discussions about what is the financial chicanery, the 3-card Monty, to find the P under the shell, whichever works for you, for these ignorant masses that walk around and watch this over here while I'm stabbing your motherfucking ass in the back with the other hand. When
stabbing you big time.
We don't understand the ramifications of what we're discussing. The Payseur, if my understanding is correct, there is a major, I can't remember the name right now, a railroad firm, I believe out of Chicago, that has the original charter for the Federal Reserve.
That's that blood.
And this name, Payseur, the hidden hand behind the hidden hand. Or better yet, the hidden hand that you see is the velvet glove. This is the iron fist inside the velvet glove. When you talk about, you go back to the Roaring Twenties and to the robber baron age, when you think of the captains of the, I'm using air quotes here now, the Carnegie, the Vanderbilt, the J.P. Morgan, the so-called majors that got broken up, Standard Oil, which was John D. Rockefeller. Okay, those people were bankrolled by the Payseurs. Okay,
well, they didn't scrub they shit off the net. But go ahead, brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can do a little bit more on your own, but I'm just bringing it up.
I dig something up.
The connotation of this conversation of anything dealing with the financial world, the enterprising chicanery of so-called corporate, the United States of America Incorporated. The Rockefellers made their money off of oil, which was Standard Oil, which a lot of people do not know, the breaking up that from the monopoly effort of Teddy Roosevelt at that time. Is all of the big oil companies we think of today separately, but they still are attached to Standard Oil originally. The Vanderbilts, where they built that one particular prima donna hotel of the time, we're talking about the Gilded Age in the 1920s, was the Biltmore, funded by Payseurs. J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley and Samuel Chase, which a lot of people don't know. Samuel Chase was the Treasury Secretary who most people have never seen a $10,000 note. That is his face on it. So what tells you about the first president is on a dollar bill, but the motherfucking King Jew is on a $10,000 note, which never goes in circulation, but it exists.
Right.
You feel me? Have you seen a $1,000 note? But you think Ben Franklin is a big dick on the Benjamins. That motherfucker was never president.
He wasn't.
But we like to say dead presidents. We're only talking about the small notes, the 1, the 5, the 10, the 20. Okay?
They mentioned that on the press.
When we, when we want to start talking with sense and have some sensibility about ourselves, maybe then we'll stop being about the money. Paper chasing, as Rihanna and T.I., whoever, sang about, chasing that paper, or some other brother said, the cotton, because it is fabric, it's not paper. It is like the clothes that you wear, is that stinking, funky money. Okay, that
Right.
mean green, as the OJs tell us about. We still don't have a clue because
Nope.
imparting. You saw the last video that Dane brought out with the latest on the slave labels. It's had part 2. He did one about a couple of months ago, part 1, dealing with the 1790 to the 2020 with the census, and had the stimulus idea closed out about what is a slave label, what is an identifier. You know, we keep having this ongoing discussion because our true problem is identity theft. But first you have to have an identity for it to be stolen. Now, you don't know what you are, who you are, where you're from. So you could be sold a bill of goods, underscoring the financial thing. You can be sold. They said if a man doesn't stand for something, he'll fall for anything.
Fall for anything, right. Yeah.
So when you look into the pesos, and by the way, this was a French nobility that named.
Yep. I saw the etymology of that word is French. So I'm going to dig up some stuff on this, goddammit. Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Kind of circling back to our last conversation of Charlemagne, Charles the Great, French emperor representing the Roman Vatican, Holy Roman Empire. Okay, you know the 3 main cities of this triumvirate. The financial world is the city of London, which is a separate state inside of London. The religious world is Vatican City, which is a separate country inside Rome. And
Rome.
Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, is not a part of the 50 contiguous, well, the 48 contiguous, the 2 separate extremities of Alaska and Hawaii, and the almost 7 territories, because people think they thought Obama was being stupid to say 57 states. No, he was talking about states and US
he knew
territories.
what he was talking about. Exactly.
A lot of ignorant folk do not know that Philippines was one of our territories. That in transition, South Vietnam, which we took over from French Indochina and the French, and their escapade of world domination and colonialism. And currently Guam, Samoa, the Rock, not just the Black Rocks, but the Rock, American Samoa, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands. When people hear these things, they don't understand. Puerto Rico, which is actually the seat of the corporate entity called the United States of America.
That is correct.
Most people do not understand that this first big domino that fell was the $123 billion federal deficit of that corporate entity, Puerto Rico. And when he went out there tossing them towels like, trash to Puerto Ricans and thinking they were foreign nationals and not U.S. citizens like every other person that's got their head stuck up their ass in this place.
Right.
This corporate fraud. These are the things that get unveiled when we start tugging at these strings. That's part of the reason I know they want to shut down the commentary that I might bring to the table. It is clarity. We must have clarity. You can't fight an unseen enemy.
Right.
When you don't know you're in a motherfucking fight.
Exactly.
And that's the whole point of the colloquialism about the devil. The first thing the devil convinced people, unbelievers and believers alike, that he does not exist.
That he didn't exist.
What is the first thing the white man convinced us of? White superiority. That what? Does not exist. And I yield.
Yep. All right, brother 832. Before you go, T. Christopher said, what's your movie recommendations? Your latest movie recommendations.
Well, if you haven't caught up on Altered Carbon, you guys have done that, right? You got season 2.
Yeah. I'm right? Behind, but I'm slowly getting through it. Yes.
No, it's on hiatus, obviously, until the next season kicks back up. But I actually, just as a guilty pleasure, have been checking out Jordan Peele doing his variation of Twilight Zone. If you haven't checked in on that.
Shoot, I'm behind. That's on CBS, right?
Right. So you have to have the all access pass. But the one that really gets me chuckles, and they've been going off the chain. Have you ever watched The Good Wife? The first time it came out, they spun off The Good Fight. You remember the brother Delroy Lindo, who was the father of Romeo Must Die with Aaliyah?
Yeah, I liked him in Crooklyn.
Yeah, this is like a black law firm in Chicago that picks up the white woman that left the good wife and gets hired as the minority affirmative action hire.
Oh, Lord. What's the name of that one?
The Good Fight.
The Good Fight. Okay.
Yes, but The Good Fight.
Okay.
And I also do my Trekkie, which is Discovery. If you've ever seen any of the Trek series, you know you got Trek, you got New Generation, you got Deep Space Nine, you got Voyager. Well, Discovery has a black sister as the female lead.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, all right then, brother 832.
And
thank you.
Drop them off.
Thank you. Yes, peace and love, brother. You brought them bombshells. Now, just real quick, I had put a post and I was talking about this collapse that's currently happening. It'll never go back to the same. It was a planned collapse. They knew it was going to happen. So somebody said, well, then who crashed the oil market? Glad you asked, my dear. I saw this motherfucking shit 4 years ago. Not 4 years ago. I mentioned it on the air. After 146 years, Rockefeller family is exiting the oil business. Off of CBS News, March 24, 2016. Heirs to the oil fortune created by John D. Rockefeller, who funded Standard Oil, just like Brother 832 was breaking that shit down for y'all, in 1870. Notice the dates, y'all. 1870. Remember I told y'all what's the time frame that the Caucasians start taking over. But anyway, the Rockefeller Family Fund, a charity that supports causes related to the environment, economic justice, and others, is liquidating its investments in fossil fuel companies, including ExxonMobil. While the global community works to eliminate the use of fossil fuels, it makes little sense financially or ethically to continue holding investment in these companies. The fund said on Wednesday in a statement, there is no sane rationale for companies to continue to explore the new sources of hydrocarbons. The fund, which manages roughly $130 million, said it would immediately divest holdings of Exxon, as well as sell its investments in coal companies, tar sand-based oil producers. So I'm not going to read the rest of that. You can go read it your motherfucking self. I told y'all back in motherfucking 2016 that they were switching from an oil-based petrodollar. That shit was dead. I fucking told y'all in 2016. And I read this exact same article. So when that motherfucking oil dipped and went into negative, wasn't no surprise to moi. It wasn't no surprise to me. Because they had already fucking told you what the fuck was going on. Now, they wasn't going to give you no time frame to say, motherfucker, on this date. They wasn't finna give you that Martha Stewart work on this motherfucking date. Sell your shit. But they pretty much put it out in plain sight.
Yep.
That they were switching from an oil-based motherfucking economy. They goddamn told you. Anytime you see them big boys sell shit finna break down. So you can't convince why. I use critical fucking thinking. You cannot convince me that 4 motherfucking years later we have an oil collapse. You can't convince me that that shit wasn't planned. So excellent job, brother 832, as always. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I'm sorry, real quick, sis, hold your thought because I'll fuck around and forget this again. The other thing I wanted to bring up when we were talking about Black Rock, what I was trying to say before, and somebody dropped it in the chat room, go check out MBB3's motherfucking video. He didn't catch, but one of his subscribers caught on camera a motherfucking Merkaba spinning in the sky. Can't make this shit up. Literally caught on camera a Merkaba spinning in the sky. Now, like I done took and told y'all, you all have a Merkaba yourself. That is your force field energy around you. And when you fall, quote, quote, asleep, and you travel, or if you go into, quote, quote, a deep meditation, or you daze off, you getting in that motherfucking Merkaba, making it do what it do. But all of that time, it was, quote, quote, invisible. You had to see it through your third pineal gland. You had to see these things to witness it. Now, to show you how fast the vibration is raising, Mama Earth is switching this shit up, raising it so high, they caught that shit on camera. So that black cube, yes, it's connected to Saturn and how they worship Saturn and the rings around Saturn, because supposedly and allegedly Saturn is used through it in conjunction with the moon, is used to recycle souls. All right, but that black rock is also kind of mimicking, once again, your motherfucking Merkaba. But your shit is much more powerful than that. All right, so go check it out, MB33. The title of the video is literally they catch a Merkaba in the sky. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
Well, you know, they also that crystal of Ezekiel's crystal. They caught that too. The wheel in the middle of it.
The wheel. Exactly.
Now,
exactly.
The economies of these cities, this state like California, is oil.
Tell it, sis. Well. And Texas too. But go
oil.
ahead, sis.
And all these people, these white people, have invested in oil. And they are rich, absolutely filthy rich, you know, going around doing their thing. So this economy that I know of here in my city is totally oil-based. And they're going to go down.
Well, they already down, because when the shit dropped to negative, I got to pay you. The city. Yeah. I feel you, sis. Yes.
The Texas is going to go down on the oil. Everybody is going down on the oil because the oil prices are not sustainable.
No.
They can't soak us to death. Now, I live in California, and I pay higher oil money for gas than anybody in the country.
Y'all always have. Y'all gas is off the chain. Gas prices are off the chain.
$5 a gallon. Come on now.
Yep.
They produce it. They produce it here. So
sure do.
In other words, I see a different slant to all of this going behind the scenes doing this kind of stuff. It is putting the slave back in the position that they were supposed to be in the first place, because there was no fairness in the universe once they got in place. And Trump said it before that our time of slavery is over. He said it in 2019, I think it was. He made that speech, remember? And so we also knew at that time that their time was over, because they can't go forward anymore, that this whole system was crashing. And I think they're trying to crash it gracefully, basically with this COVID and all this kind of stuff, to make the people unmovable so they can, do what they have to do without a lot of violence.
Yeah, because that's used as the cover. I said that out the gate when Rona was first announced.
Yeah, it's a distraction because it doesn't make sense, the science behind it. But then again, you got this vaccine they're trying to put out there. It's got a chip in it, and they're going to chip the people. So who are they going to chip?
The people are already chipped. The people are already chipped. That vaccine is deeper than that. I believe that vaccine is going to have
adverse effects.
The Magellan thingy in it because Magellan, thank you. Magellan, thank you. Morgellon, thank you, sis. In it because like I keep telling y'all, that's why I am suggesting to y'all go check out Upload on Amazon Prime. The collapse of the petrodollar, it's a reset. They just move into another fucking system. That's all they doing. It's a reset. It's going to be all digital and AI. I'm telling y'all. Mark my words. That's what's going on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
People want change, but don't realize this stuff has to go.
Exactly.
The reason you're having this oil collapse is because people are staying at home. Ain't nobody driving. And that's driving the prices down because people ain't using as much gas and oil as they usually would. Mm-hmm. Soon as everything opens back up, the prices gonna go back up. The economy will recover. But what's happening right now, like they were saying about BlackRock managing the Fed and all that, the Fed buying back all the bonds, which is the debt, which is the slavery.
That's right. Yep. That's exactly
then
right.
It's going to be liquidated because then it officially owns all the debt. The people don't own the debt anymore. They bought it all up.
Exactly.
That's part of the thing to make things seem to fit in the Sarah.
Exactly. But it's all planned.
Yeah, definitely. But also along with this, the reason why things were being liquidated and this, that, or the other is because they know that anything that they have because of that executive order Trump has about seizing all of their assets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their money and all that stuff too. So, naturally they tried to get liquid, be able to move things around and don't have much to trace it back to them. If they got things in trust and things of that nature, shell corporations set up, it's going to take a long time to trace where they actually have stuff. But they done for anyway. By nature, they're not going to survive.
Oh, yeah, I 1,000% agree with you. Yep.
So they really not the focus. It's a matter of keeping the system alive. Because before they were even here, the system was in place.
Existed. Exactly.
It was put in place after the fall.
Exactly. So they didn't invent it. They didn't invent the system. Exactly.
So getting caught up into them and thinking that they're the alpha and the omega of the evil, you think in small term like...
Yes, you are.
Like they want you to think. The people behind the scenes who are actually pulling the string.
The string,
if they
that's
can
right.
Get you to keep focusing on little things that they create, you'll never get to the creators of the problem.
Mm-mm.
And you'll never realize that you are a creator of this fuckery.
Yep.
It goes on by your consent. You sign treaties,
Indeed.
you sign deals.
Yep.
And the other thing with the Federal Reserve, they only had a 100-year charter. Their shit was up in 2013 anyway.
Yeah.
So they just really just operating recklessly, like fuck y'all.
Right.
And y'all accept this.
And y'all accept it.
Anything that you accept from this corporation is acquiescence. You can't accept something and then say, well, okay, I don't agree with that. That ain't what your stimulus check meant.
Nope.
That meant you was on board with the new regime.
Exactly.
I don't care what you voted. I don't care what you plan on voting in 2020.
I'm with you, brother.
I got direct deposit information. I got all the information from all these Arab stores and shit where y'all went and cashed the checks. I got y'all covered. I know everything y'all do.
Yep.
I got y'all. Y'all signed on to the new system. You done the census. You filed your taxes. Everything. I made sure you crossed your T's and dotted your I's. You jumped up and down, said, I'm a U.S. citizen. I need my money. He still got some of y'all crying about not getting your money. So y'all the ones that's begging extra hard to be in the new system. So, I mean,
it is what it is.
That's just like putting cheese on a rat trap. You go get the cheese, I mean.
Right. What the fuck you whining about? Exactly. And people thought I was crazy when I said, give it back. Give it back to them. If you can afford to do it, give it back. And at a minimum, if you're going to take it, at least put some type of motherfucking stipulation on the back of that bitch.
Yeah.
But most people didn't do that. They got the shit in their little account and kept it pushing, and that's their business. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to judge you.
Just
do
the
you.
Rules of the game.
Exactly.
Just
that's all we keep consistently saying. Yep. We consistently keep saying that. That's all. That's all.
I just want to mention something one of the financial analysts said. He said that when you're sovereign and you owe a debt, and you can't pay it, they can't collect it. If you are a corporation, which all the people of the United States citizenship is, then if you file bankruptcy, you still owe the debts. So one of the Constitution's things is that Indians can never be citizens of the United States, and African, descent too. So
right.
So we are not citizens under the corporate status. They tried to do it with the birth certificate, but they know that we are Indians by the fact that they put on that birth certificate Negro. So anyway, so I just wanted to say that about what this financial analyst said about what's going to happen to the debts of the corporation and the non-sovereign people. But the sovereign people will not have to pay that according to that word repudiation.
But here's the thing. Go ahead, Brother Sean. I'll let you take it. You go ahead, Brother Sean.
What they're talking about is their distinction between private and public citizens.
Mm-hmm.
They still part of the corporation. And
they are.
They made Indians American citizen. Period. I don't care how you try and call yourself this. That's what they passed.
Yeah, they made them citizens, so they're part of the corporation. Yeah, that's exactly what it
said. They said all Indians are American citizens. Why do you think they have you listed on their census? They don't have people listed on their census that they're citizens. That's why I kept saying about people submitting paperwork, submitting their tribal names and their tribes and all this, that, and the other, the proper enunciation and this, that, and the other to receive recognition. Mm-hmm. You don't get recognition without giving up your citizenship, without becoming a citizen.
And they're not accepting it. They're not accepting it because the $5 folk Trump card is kicking them off of all of them social programs. He said, no, you're supposed to be, well, he didn't say this, but pretty much he's saying, no, if you're supposed to be a quote-unquote sovereign nation, then what the fuck you need food stamps, Medicaid, this, that, and the third. And didn't he just...
Remember we looked that up? That was a brother.
Yeah, that's why I was going with Brother Sean. Exactly. That was a motherfucking brother with the Cromwell name, which Cromwell was the one that stripped the indigenous people of their lineage. And I'm like, I can't fucking make this bullshit up.
And if people forget that at one point Trump had said that if they couldn't they couldn't do what they needed to do to keep the land, we're not giving it back.
Yeah, that's what he said.
The way we got it, the way we're going to keep it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said. But the thing of it is, though, like you said, Brother Sean, you have all of these, quote, quote, indigenous Indian groups popping up, forming their own tribes and having people join a motherfucking tribe. Now, not through lineage now. Let's be clear. Not through lineage.
Exactly.
But, you pay this motherfucking fee, fill out these motherfucking paperwork, and you can go up under my tribe. Well, ain't that the same shit that they get on the Moors about? Now, I could be wrong, but that's the same shit they get on the Moors about. Then they want to turn around and go get recognition, which if you get recognition, that goes back up under the same control, corporate control, unless I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something.
They just did that, too. They just got under corporate control as they just filed the documents on that. And they granted them, something on that. Citizenship.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
But those sovereign citizen groups do the same thing because they're filing paperwork. You file UCC, you file this, you file that, you say this, you say that. Bottom line is you still in their system talking all this shit.
And they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And I have even heard, quote, quote, indigenous Indians say they want to run for office. I looked at that. I said, maybe I'm fucking retarded. It's got to be me. I got to be the one with a mental incompetence. You want to fucking run for office? Don't that contradict who the fuck and what the fuck you claim to be? I just don't get it. It's like you niggas are fucking confused. You want to say one thing, but then you still turn around and want to use their system. You're a walking fucking contradiction.
Can I throw a Mickey in the wrench?
Yeah, go ahead, sis.
I was looking at Lexwell, and he was going over flags. And, people have certain color flags for whatever their nationality happens to be.
Right.
Well, the red, white, and blue happens to be the Assyrian colors. So, the red, white, and blue. And
it's all over.
Yeah, they're the red, white. And Texas is red, white, and blue. Those are Assyrian colors.
I mean, I can't dispute that because I can't dispute something that I ain't fucking done no research on. So, but what's the point you're trying to make behind that, sis? Just in case folks aren't putting the connection together.
This is Assyrian domination, and the Native American want to run for his stuff because he's an Assyrian too. So that's why he's trying to run for this thing, because they all part and parcel, as the Lord say, of this situation.
But wait, sis, this is the thing that's fucking me all up, and thank you for clarifying that. And you know, I ain't trying to start no mess, but who do the Assyrians tie back to?
To the Mongrels.
Ain't that whole? Okay, I might be thinking something different because I thought they also.
China.
I thought they also go back to Iran and them, and but anyhow.
They're the
okay.
The Saudis, all the people.
Okay. All right.
The Indians, the Indians over in the cross, they are all the Khans, the Canaanites, the Assyrians. Yes.
So here's where I'm going with that. Now, and thank you for clarifying that, because these quote indigenous people, indigenous Indians that can tie their bloodline back to the land, I don't understand how are you running for office? I just don't get it.
The Native Americans.
No, sis. No. Folks that claim their bloodline. Now, am I making this shit up, Sean? Folks that claim that their bloodline are indigenous, autochthonous, American Indians. No, they not saying they not Moors. They make it clear they're not Moors. I'm telling you what they say. They are indigenous, autochthonous, American Indians that were reclassified as Negro color black. Talking about running for office. I promise you I'm not making this shit up. And I'm sitting here like, maybe I'm stupid in this fucking equation.
He did over here and mate with a lot of our people, which makes them mongrels, because they're half and half. And then the ones that came over with him with the armies, those are the imported Native Americans.
I wouldn't deny all of that. I'm going to say again, what folks are claiming, they the ones that we talk, and I will not, and if Sean, if I'm lying on anything, please motherfucking correct me. I'm talking people with big ass platforms that done researched this, they done been doing the motherfucking shit for years, are talking about running for office.
They're not melanated folks. They're indigenous. They don't look like us at all.
You're missing my point. They are melanated folks.
Yeah, okay.
Indigenous, when I said indigenous, that should automatically mean melanated. Autochthonous, that should automatically mean melanated. I am telling you what a couple of them, I have fucking heard 3 of them say it on fucking YouTube with huge platforms. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
They want to be part of the system. Right?
Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make, sis. That's the motherfucking point I'm trying to make.
Or be the ones to take over when the system finally turns over.
Exactly. Same motherfucking thing. They're not interested in the land. I'm going to keep saying this again. Those fuckers aren't interested in the land. They're interested in getting the fiat or motherfucking digital coins or whatever the fuck they finna switch to. That's what they're interested in. They're full of shit.
The system has already switched over, in case people know that. That's why people are shut down. That's why people sitting in their houses trying to figure out what to do.
Sitting in a motherfucking crib Zola. Yep.
How can you partake in a system thinking that you're going to make a change in it when it don't belong here? Period.
Exactly.
There's no change.
Exactly.
It was a commerce thing.
Period.
Yeah. Their commerce is
just
shut
like
down. Yep. They shut down their
everybody
commerce.
is jockeying for position.
For position. You made that shit clear last week. Yep.
I mean, if you do, the people that know they bloodline actually go back to the motherfuckers that signed treaties. So, of course, it's within some of them
for the
want
fuck
what
shit.
they view as their birthright.
Exactly.
They're like, we can't go back there and change nothing but, according to all the paperwork and according to my birthright, this my shit. I don't give a fuck about you other niggas. Y'all can come sign on to my shit.
Yep. That's exactly where they going with it, Brother Sean.
Give me your social security number and everything. Sign this shit right here and everything. I'll shoot you a couple bucks.
Right.
If they willing to give you 100,000 or $1 million or whatever it is that they promise the motherfuckers nowadays.
Right.
Know that it's more in it for them.
It's got to be.
Even though money ain't real, it's never going to be real.
Yep.
Whether it's backed by gold, whether it's digital currency, it really ain't real. That's when you know that your mind is really fucked. That you ain't never got to touch it, and you got to depend on the computer system to keep working. That's another thing that they didn't program you for with that staying at home and employers insisting that you stay home. That's been the plan for the longest, to have you hooked up to a goddamn computer where they know where you at all day, every day. So you ain't got to take the vaccine and that shit.
Get chilled. Exactly.
Because in order to work, you're going to have to sit in front of that computer, have an iWatch or something on where you're doing something connected to the matrix.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's either you ready to make it to that next level and just leave the system, or you just getting a upgraded spot. You just seen the movies with the flying cars and all the technology with the AIs that control. I believe all that's going to happen in the lower ranks.
Oh, absolutely. I 1,000% agree.
See that shit.
Right, exactly, and that's what we're gonna get into on the next series, and that's why I'm saying, if y'all can, go watch Upload on Amazon motherfucking Prime, because I've been telling y'all this reset is about going into that AI world, and the trickery, the fuckery. People gonna think they getting something latest and greatest when it's really lower level shit. You're really gonna be operating in a lower level dimension matrix where nothing is natural. So it's separating you even further naturally. But everything's going to be driven from your consciousness. Because remember, in order for a matrix to continue, they need consciousness, and specifically soul consciousness. So we're not on here just banging on people. We're trying to give you the real, so you can open up your pineal gland to see the shit for what it is, so you can get off that circle. And I see melanated folk with they motherfucking lips water. That's why you think I keep talking about this motherfucking 5% and how the 4% out of the 5% are full of shit. I'm telling you this for a reason. Because there's agents within that 4%, them motherfuckers got they chops licked to start harvesting people, to set up their own little miniature kingdoms. And I see that shit as clear as day. It's somebody with a huge fucking platform that's talking about Africa. And I could just read it. I can see it with my pineal gland. I'm like, oh, so you talking about setting up a motherfucking another Negro land. You want to be head over the shit. I'm telling you what I'm seeing. Y'all better get up on game on this 4% shit.
And
you
it's
think
all
because
gonna be back in print.
What you say? It's all gonna be back in what, Brother Sean?
Back in print.
Exactly.
People
it's gonna be back in
agreeing to
print.
do it. If
Exactly.
you don't know by now, that's your fault. That's one thing that can't nobody protect you from being stupid.
No.
I mean, if you continue to depend on other people and just believe anything anybody
somebody
tells
say,
you,
exactly.
then you getting exactly what you
get exactly what the fuck you deserve. Exactly. That's why I bang so hard. It don't be to offend people. Nah, you can't bring me the fuck shit. Where your motherfucking receipts?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because if
that
you
5%, shit, 4% out of that 5%, they ain't fucking around.
And actually, I can't even be mad at them because we in the age of knowing, and
you should know. You should
nobody
know.
Not to know.
Not to know, because they put the shit right in your face.
But you got to think of how many people are sadomasochists, how many people enjoy pain and suffering.
That's true.
That's all they focus on. Like, don't nothing else happen in life but pain and suffering. They get off on it. I mean, we see it all day on social media. Somebody always complaining about their problems, complaining about this, complaining about that. And then it's everybody looking for goddamn prayers and this, that, and the other. But, you know, in between all them prayers and this, that, and the other, I'm a queen, I'm a king, I'm a god, I'm a goddess. And then next day, you know, oh, I'm in the hospital, send prayers. And I mean, it's all doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom. Yep, I 1,000% agree. I 1,000%
agree. The mindset that keeps you in those lower frequencies.
Yes.
I mean, to me, if you really don't like something, if you make a change when you hit that ceiling, when you hit that wall or that floor or whatever brings you back to reality, you stop and you make a change in your life. Like, I ain't gonna keep doing this bullshit no more. But
right, because
considering
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Exactly.
Right. So people enjoy it, and I don't know, we have to remember everybody here for their own goddamn journey and purpose.
They are, and that's why, you know, another trap, and shout out to the one sister, damn, I always say her name and then I forget it. But when she made the analogy about the Neo complex, Neo from the Matrix trying to be the motherfucking superhero and the Avengers trying to be the superhero, that's a motherfucking trap right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a program. That's a trap. So that's why I don't be wanting to hear no fuck shit about what we need to do. No, motherfucker, what you need to do for you and yours. Because it starts with self. You got to create your own reality. And I be goddamn if I do another cycle or a motherfucking loop waiting on everybody else to get their shit together. Nah, boo. I'm doing my small part. And either you get it or you don't, and you don't have to get it. That's on you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
Because if you think about it, and using Black Panther as an example, with that superhero universal Marvel shit, they telling you, irregardless to what it costs you, you have to want to save everybody. It don't matter if we parasites and they're fucking up everything. You're still supposed to help us because you're so great
help everybody.
and magnificent.
Exactly.
You're supposed to help everybody. You can't have all this technology and knowledge and everything all to yourself while other people sit up here and suffer. And this,
right.
that, and other.
Yep. And Thanos was the bad guy when he said, fuck all you motherfuckers. Snap!
Exactly. But us being the loving beings that we are, we still try and look out for motherfuckers. No matter how fucked up they is. I mean, truth is, that is, look at how people celebrate motherfuckers going to jail before they go to jail, get the biggest party, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
If they're fortunate to get out, they get a party and street creds, and this, that, and the other. You the man. Fuck that you didn't kill somebody, cause their family all types of grief, this, that, and the other.
A parasite to the neighborhood, right.
Right. But you the man.
Right.
And the brother that's trying to do right that you killed, he was a man. He ain't want to get on.
Right. Fuck all of that. Right. Well, look, Brother Sean, even with this series, and when I did Black Nobility, people still go back and listen to that, and it may be new people that it show up in their feed and they start listening to the series. Get a motherfucking pure attitude in the YouTube comments. So you saying that melanated people was evil, and they caused all this stuff. You a sellout. You love the white man. First of all, motherfucker, why the fuck are you on my YouTube comments with this fuck shit? And second of all, go pick up a motherfucking book, and books to be plural. Third of all, grow the fuck up. And fourth of all, you have cognitive dissonance. And I'm going to say it again for any of you motherfuckers that don't want to get it in your brain that melanated people started this fuck shit. You have cognitive dissonance. White folks only came in the mix 250 years from a rulership perspective. So now if you want to continue to have cognitive dissonance, that's fucking on you. Go ahead on and repeat the cycle, thinking everybody that's melanated is good and in your favor when the receipts show different, and hell, the current receipts show you differently. That's the fuck on you. But we are telling you, and the realm is telling you and showing you what the truth is. And the truth don't give a fuck about your cognitive dissonance.
If it was a melanated planet for millions or billions of years before there was a quote-unquote pale man here, and there's been wars here for billions of years, who the fuck was fighting?
I guess that was Casper and his motherfucking boys in them. That was Casper, the motherfucking friendly ghost.
If I remember correctly, don't murder, rape, all type of shit happen within families? But you question whether or not black people were evil or can be evil? I mean, you say you God, but don't God say he created good and evil?
Exactly. And don't gods war all the time?
That's all the book talk about. It was wars in heaven. The place where people trying to get to worship at his feet forever, it was wars there.
Exactly. So you can't have it both ways. Well, I tell you this, you can't come on this motherfucking platform and have it both ways, because I'm going to hand you your ass every time, because you're trying
90
to insult
seconds.
my motherfucking intelligence, and I'm going to hand you your fucking head on a platter. I'm not a child in the physical realm, and definitely not in the motherfucking spiritual realm. Get the fuck on with that bullshit. You're playing childish games. And I'm not here for that fuck shit. Grow up. If you're still
60
in
seconds.
colorism, you are a fucking child. Grow the fuck up. That means you can't take responsibility for shit in your own life.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is, okay, if when it was all melanated, we was all kumbaya and all in love with each other, vibrating at our highest frequencies, able to fly, do everything. And Benjamin Franklin and some of his boys,
10
just
seconds.
came along and just fucked us all up. Just fucked up the whole planet.
Just out of the motherfucking blue, came and fucked us up. Now we've been ruling for millions of motherfucking years. Millions. It's an insult to my intelligence. And before I found the receipts, Brother Sean and I had one motherfucking conversation, and we like, yeah, this some melanated shit. I get it. This some melanated shit. And we bring receipts after receipts after receipts, and you niggas still have cognitive dissonance, and then want to get a motherfucking attitude with moi, because I won't come on my fucking platform that I paid for and build and stroke your motherfucking low-level ego. This not the show for the fuck shit. We not about that life on this show. Either you are who you say you are or you ain't. Get the fuck on. Go to them other platforms that'll let you keep lying to your fucking self. So it is what it is. All right, so let me bring on, yes, Purple Pill, God is a verb. And those motherfuckers ain't even living up to that verb. Shit. All right, let me go to 248.
I apologize. I got in the queue. I didn't intend to. I'm just.
Okay. No worries, sweetie pie. Peace and love. All right. Okay, here we go, family. What you say? Ignorance is also a verb, Purple Pill. Well, you know what? I'm just not for the fuck shit. Because it's an insult to my motherfucking intelligence. You want to still discredit what the fuck melanated people did. But yet and still, killings, murder, melanated on melanated crimes happen every fucking day. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. So, all right, here we go. White trash, I'm sorry, go ahead on, Brother Sean. Yes.
But how you going to admit that there was black kings and queens and there weren't servants?
Cognitive dissonance.
They speak of empires.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had to be conquered in order for you to have an empire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm quite sure they didn't just go over there and drink with them, and then they just gave it to them.
Right.
So, I mean, when it comes to, let's say, colonizing, what's not evil about that?
Right. I ain't finna glorify a motherfucking thing. Parrot. Exactly.
I mean, they willingly admit how the Moors conquered the known world of the time. Conquered.
Right.
They proudly use that word.
Yep.
And they in alliance with the pale skins. They're in alliance with the system. They said they're not here to try and change or disrupt the system. They're supposed to be willing participants, good citizens, pay their dues, pay their taxes. If they the ones that claim that they don't pay taxes, they Grand Sheik or whoever, they paying them.
Right.
And that motherfucker paying taxes. And the ones that don't pay taxes go to jail.
Right.
But, either way it go, they say it's their system. They like it. They want it to continue. Now they look forward to Nasera and Jacera, which, according to BlackRock, they don't let them be the face of the corporation.
Yep.
I looked up BlackRock when we was talking about it. They based out of New York. There's one brother on the board.
Now, does that surprise us? Now, does that surprise you and I, Brother Sean? Go on, brother. Go on with it.
How y'all gonna say y'all a corporation that's about to put blacks back in the head of corporation, and y'all only got one brother on your board? So y'all about to get rid of all them white people for blacks to be head of a corporation? And they have a history with the Federal Reserve when they weren't merged with the Treasury. And that was back in, I think they said that was 2010 or 2012 during Obama's tenure. Yeah, they were supposed to have done some type of oversight over all that money that came up missing during his time.
Oh, yep, sure did. Sure did.
But nothing ever came of that. So, I mean, why would there be confidence in them to do the quote-unquote right thing now?
Right thing, exactly. But I do think... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
Unless it is just to completely dissolve the Federal Reserve.
Dissolve it, yeah, and start something else up. But, I really do think they're going to put melanated folks back in power over the corporations. But it's going to be the same bloodline. You better fucking believe it.
Yeah. What's going to be the determining factor?
It's the bloodline, because remember, King Charles made it motherfucking clear in that Georgia Charter, you're going to run him his ends forever and ever and ever and ever. So again, if you get a chance, watch Upload. I'm sorry, but go ahead, Brother Sean.
But is it going to be from one of the baby mama's kids, considering...
Hell fucking no!
But all the direct bloodline, they all sprung out on that adrenochrome. And they got to go to jail and stuff, remember?
Well, I put it this way. I put it this way. The baby mamas, if you ain't living nicely and you part of that, if you ain't living nicely right now and you part of that bloodline, they don't recognize you as part of that bloodline. I'm going to fucking put it that way. Hopefully that makes more sense. They're not going to seek you out and put you on a motherfucking thing. Now, thank you, Sean. Thank you. God damn it. Thank you. I'm minding my business. Sean, you know where I'm going with this. So somebody post this, y'all know I'm country, post this, a picture of the Chicago mayor as a youngin'. Couldn't have been no more than 12. I'll put it at 12. Guess who the fuck she was meeting? Oh boy, from South Africa, Mandela. Now, how in the fuck you gonna meet Mandela back up in the motherfucking day, you 13, and now you mayor of Chicago? And we keep telling you motherfuckers that they're all family. They seek out who they want to hold them seats. It keeps being proven.
Yeah, because we don't know who they grooming right about now.
Yeah, they already done groomed them. They already done fucking groomed them. So if you didn't get no fucking tap on your shoulder when you was a youngin', because goddamn it, they ain't finna groom no old ass crow. So you can fucking forget that. They grooms theirs from a youngin'. They know who the fuck they are as a youngin'. You're being delusional. You have cognitive dissonance. I don't give a fuck if your bloodline is tied to them. They don't recognize you. Because if they recognized you, you wouldn't be in the conditions that you are in. So you gonna keep getting screwed. I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
I was just going to say, see that whole thing with recognition? Recognition gets you privileges, and that's why people are trying to recognized.
Get it. Exactly.
As if you don't exist without them recognizing you. But how can you actually sit up and submit your true lineage to them? Confessed, even though they already know who the hell you are.
Right.
They just want you to write it down and submit a deal with them. Now, you can't sit up and say that, them treaties were signed back in the day, and once everybody died, it was no longer valid. No, you just signed your own personal treaty. You just cut your own deal.
All I can say is people under the impression that they're going to get a tap on their shoulder to get X, Y, and Z based on lineages into these bloodlines. And I'm telling you, you finna get your fucking feelings hurt again because they groom their youngins off the cuff. They know who the fuck they are off the cuff. So you think them celebrities that go on to Gates' motherfucking fraudulent, stinking ass show that they say is linked back to these quote-quote royal kingdoms, if you honestly believe that that's the first time they fucking heard that, you gullible. They knew that shit on the cuff. That's how they were able to make millions and millions, because they take care of their own. So here, the latest brother Wilson, what's his first name? Shit, the young boy. I can't think of his first name. We talked about him last week, and I kept saying Williams, but his name is really Wilson. That's it. He ties back to Charlemagne the Great. Even his fucking last name, Wilson. Wilson, the derivative of that is King Williams. All in the same fucking family. So again, if you are truly in the come up of that lineage, you would not be living in the conditions that you're living in. They groom their people for these positions as youngins. So keep using cognitive dissonance if you want to. That is your fucking choice. Keep thinking that Babylonian, Romanistic system is going to work for you. That's on you. Go on and cut another deal and go on to the other lower realms and, play around another couple thousand years. Go on and wait another 3,600 and some change for the opportunity to get out of the fuck shit. But you'll have some new bells and whistles. You'll have the cute little AI and technology and all that fucked up shit. You may not even have to work anymore. The physical work that you do. But believe you me, you're going to pay them some type of way. So it's on you. And I'm not trying to down anyone if that's what you want to do. Just know what it is for. But I will not use my platform for cognitive dissonance. I'm not going to do it. I'm not interested in signing on to nobody's tribe, signing on to nobody motherfucking reset. I'm not fucking interested. I don't need it. So, all right, here we go. All right, y'all. We always get into some other shit. Now we got 43 minutes for material. White Trash, the 400-year untold history of class in America by Nancy Eisenberg. So now we're going to talk about the come up of white folk. All right? So if you have cognitive dissonance, this ain't the fucking platform or show for you. All right. Okay, so the gold rush attracted more than restless white Americans looking for easy riches. Adventurers came from as far as Australia, Chile, Hawaii, and France. Large number of Chinese began arriving in 1852. San Fran quickly became the most cosmopolitan hub in all of North America. North Carolinian Hinton Rowan Helper was one of the many educated travelers to write on the racial menagerie and utter degeneration of whites that he discovered in California. Oh, now this is interesting. Do tell, Nancy. His book, Land of the Gold, 1855, laid the groundwork for his far more controversial polemic on poor whites, the impending crisis of the South, 1857. Built tall and rail thin, Helper must have stood out among the motley assortment of imageries. He spent 3 long years in California and came away hating the state. Despite all the harsh things he had to say about almost everyone he met, he was obliged to admit that most imported women had little choice but prostitution if they wished to survive in the unruly town of San Francisco. Well, damn, y'all. For Helper, the Digger Indians were the filthy and abominable, living like carnivorous animals, and far worse than either niggers or dogs. Shit, he coming out swinging. White men in the Golden State killed off Indians as if dispatching squirrels. The Nicaraguans Helper encountered on his return voyage to North Carolina were feeble and dwarfed accordingly. One Kentuckian was the equal of 4 or 5 of these hybrid denizens of the torrid zone. All right, now let me take a sip of my water, because she does an excellent job. That's why I respect this woman. She does an excellent job separating who is whom. So now you have to know your research to know what she means when she separates these folks. Free blacks likewise live in filth and degradation. All right? So remember, we told y'all that free blacks could be a combination of those melanated Europeans that finish up indentured servant contracts. Okay, so melanated folks came over also to the Americas on indentured servant contracts. Or it could have been melanated folks coming over here under the protection of the melanated black nobility, and or it could have been indigenous melanated Indians who fit that category as well. But mostly from what our research has shown, the freed blacks really means melanated Europeans. All right. Helper echoed Walker's racist migration theory. Someday, blacks would be drawn towards the equator and deposited like waste in the receptors of the South American countries. Now, I also want to note that when we talk about California, there's also research showing that there was some wealthy melanated folks that showed up in California and start building those mansions. So those mansions, I call them the Moore mansions, that was built very, very well. There's research saying that melanated folks built California. So now I'm guessing that there's either 2 people, and probably both. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it was the rich melanated nobility from Europe, or they boys in them, that came over to build out these different areas because they had cut a deal with the king in order to get those particular lands to build up those areas, but they had to kick back their kicks to the king. And it also could have been those same folks that were part of those quote, quote, 5 civilized tribes that took the deal and started going west. All right? Okay, which I still think a lot of those 5 civilized tribes from a melanated perspective were a lot of those melanated Europeans were in that was cutting those deals. Not saying that indigenous melanated people weren't in it as well. All right. Okay, so Helper complained about Californians drawing on animal analogies whenever possible. Americans, English, French, Chinese, Indian, Negroes, and half-breeds could never find common cause over a gold mine any more than a panther, lion, tiger, or bear could in hovering over the body of a fresh slain deer. The Chinese provoked contempt, for they had the gall to imagine that they were superior to Anglo-Saxons. These semi-barbarians shared the fate of the southern Negro. Both the copper of the Pacific and the ebony of the Atlantic were destined to be permanently enslaved. All right, so now this is, who the fuck was dude's name talking all this shit? Anyhow, I can't find his name. What the fuck was his name? Damn it. Oh, North Carolinian Hinton Rowan Helper. All right. As much as he was a passionate proponent of racial purity, now remember, let's refresh the memory. Remember, white folks just motherfucking took the title of Anglo-Saxon. That was not them. Okay? They literally created an identity out of an ancient European melanated bloodline. And now all of a sudden, it's white pure blood. Cognitive dissonance at its fucking finest. As much as he was a passionate proponent of racial purity, Helper imagined himself as something of a sociologist, anthropologist too. He compared the gold craze to the cotton South's single crop economy. The conclusions drawn from his study on California re-emerged in his 1857 critique of Southern society. From his description of elite Californians, residents of, I can't brush past that shit, child. From his description of elite Californios, residents of Spanish descent, California. I'm finna fucking read this shit for you again. White people with the cognitive dissonance. I'm finna read this shit for you again. This 1857. This is what another white person said. From his description of elite Californios, residents of Spanish descent. So white people with the cognitive dissonance. How you gonna claim that the Spanish folks weren't there first? I'm fucking confused. Oh, okay then. He found a Western version of the cruel and self-satisfied aristocratic Southern planter. The Spanish indulgence in the horror show of the bullfight struck Helper as cousins to the southern planter's wielding of his lash. The barbarous matador was akin to the August night planter who lorded over slaves and poor white men. White people. And Cali with the fucking cognitive dissonance. This is fucking 1857. Now, who was where first? Oh, okay then. All right. By 1857, poor white trash had taken on the traits of slain bulls, defeated beings, wallowing without hope in a state of illiteracy and degradation that was purposely and fastidiously perpetuated by callous planters. Okay, so he's describing what the fuck went down in the South. So white people of the fucking South, what was your position? You were what? Your folks came over here how? Cognitive dissonance. Here we go. Helper easily transferred his perspective on California miners to Southern poor. The gold diggers were an updated version of squatters. White people of California, who you say your family came to California as gold diggers, and you were some of the early founders of Cali. Your people held what position? I'll read that shit again. The gold diggers were an updated version of squatters. They lived in squalid tents, wearing their hair long and donning scraggly beards. The majority of white men who swarmed into California became poverty-stricken dupes. They were no different in this way from Southern poor whites. So basically duped, swindled, and so damnably outraged. So white people of California, your family came over in Cali as what? And who was there before you got there? Oh, okay then. Okay. For Helper, economies dependent on one source of wealth created extreme class conditions. California mining was worshipped in the same way that cotton and slavery had become the false deities of the South. That was a beautiful analogy. Just what Brother Sean just fucking said 15 minutes ago with the connection of these goddamn supposed wealth. She described it as false deities. Now that's gold. That's gold and cotton that she's describing. So now help me to motherfucking understand 4% how you being put in charge of another economic system is going to do what? That's a fucking false deity. All right, but I'll continue. In the land of gold. Now, reset people that talk about gold-backed dollar. They were in the land of gold. He's describing this in 1857. So help me to motherfucking understand how fiat being backed by gold is going to do what? another false deity. Cognitive dissonance. Here we go again. In the land of gold, Helper actually defended slavery. But less than 2 years later, in the impending crisis, 1857, he called for its abolition in the same form that Abraham Lincoln and a slew of purportedly liberal politicians preferred emancipating and colonization. Freed slaves would have to be expelled from the United States. The rise of Free Soil Party in 1848 and the Republican Party in 1854 did not imply that an anti-slavery position was devoid of anxiety over pedigree, unnatural mixture, and degenerate breeds. The first Republican president candidate was Colonel John Fremont, a man born and raised in the South who made his reputation crossing the Rockies. Like Helper, he converted to abolition in the interest of protecting the white race. Slavery components. White people and melanated people and Native American Indians. White folks being abolitionists for slavery, we've consistently heard the author point to that throughout this book, and the reason they didn't want it because it cheapened the labor of the white race. So the narrative, the official story narrative of slavery, false, cognitive dissonance, free soil rhetoric fed the belief that free men could not coexist with slaves, just as Anglo-Saxons could not live side by side with Indians. Okay, so again, she's clearly breaking down who is who. Slavery was a dangerous contagion, spreading death and decay and feeding a class/demographic war by depopulating the nation of its white inhabitants. Slavery components: white people and black people. Who was for slavery again? Oh, okay then. As one clever essayist pointed out as early as 1843, poor Southern whites were being forced from their home and pushed into exile like refugees because they were unable to compete with those Helper called slave-owning land sharks. It was unfair to divest them of their land and rob them out of their prosperity, rightful inheritance. So, white people, you were not the first in California. So now, all of a sudden, you have some inheritance rights. That seems like the same shit we see going on today. You want to run around calling other people refugees, and who belong where, when you have no inherent right to the land. Cognitive dissonance. With haggard features and emaciated forms, the poor Southern families that headed west represented a new class of poverty, worse than any seen before. By banishing her sons, the essayist of 1843 concluded slave owners were warring against the vital interests of the entire non-slave holding population of the South. Free soldiers imagined three possible scenarios in eliminated slavery. First, if the West was to remain uncontaminated, slavery had to be kept out of all new territories. All right, didn't we see this exact same shit in the South? Was not Georgia set up as a charter to be free from slavery? It's the same fucking script, people. All right. Second, by prohibiting the migration of slavery into the Western territories and states, it seemed plausible to some that the institution would gradually die off in the Old South. Third, as in Helper's case, ending slavery would require exporting slaves elsewhere. I can't make this shit up. I can't make this shit up. We keep giving you the receipts. All right, let me reread it. All right. It seemed plausible, sis, I'm getting feedback from you. I think that's your line. It seemed plausible to some that the institution would gradually die off in the Old South. Third, as in Helper's case, ending slavery would require exporting slaves elsewhere, recolonizing them in Africa, the Caribbean islands, or South America. Oh, okay, then. Okay. The free soil banner moved to the center of national politics in 1847. That year, Pennsylvania Democrat David Wilmot introduced a provision in Congress which stipulated that all territories gained from the Mexican War must remain free soil. Slavery prohibited. All right? So now y'all should get why slavery was not prominent out west. Right. The wording was taken verbatim from Jefferson's 1784 draft banning slavery from the Northwest Territory. I told y'all this is the fucking same script and not that bullshit ass slavery narrative that they're giving you. Okay. It went hand in hand with the Homestead Bill, which would have granted all men a free homestead of 160 acres. All right, so those bring this up to date. Now that word homestead tax exemption, you motherfucking homeowners should know what the fuck I'm talking about. So hopefully now you get a better connotation of what that word, where it's derived from. Freedom, which of course meant freedom for all whites. Slavery components. White people, black people, slavery components. Freedom, which of course meant freedom for all whites, was only ensured through land ownership and the ability to reap sustenance from the soil. Unlike previous land policies that granted squatters preempted rights, the rights to buy land they had staked out and cultivated, the new campaign turned the squatter into an entitled free man. So, slavery folk, white people, black people, slavery folk, if the white man was free when they hit the motherfucking soil, why would they have to make up something, give them some land to guarantee that they were free men? Yeah, I'll wait for your fucking answer. Yeah, that's what I thought. To be homesteader was to be of the American people who collectively owned as their inalienable. I cannot fucking make this shit up. I gotta sip some water. White people, listen up very fucking closely. Listen up. To be a homesteader was to be of the American people who collectively own as their inalienable birthright all the public land in the territory. So now, this was drafted up in what? Let me go back and get the shit right. All right, I know the original one was 1784. I want to say this was 18. No, okay, she's finna give it to me. My bad, Nancy. I apologize, boo. You was giving it to me. Just needed to read it. Unfortunately, blocked by Southern votes in Congress, the inalienable homestead would not become law until 1862 after succession. So, white people, and you get a motherfucking attitude when I put you on notice and ask you a simple fucking question. Who had the land? And I was giving you a nice little generous jump before 1776. And here, according to her receipts, you didn't get your motherfucking inalienable birthright until 1862. So what the fuck is you talking about? Cognitive dissonance. Free soil politics serve to underscore a class-infected theme. Southern planters were spreading slavery to the detriment of freemen. Former Kentucky Congressman Benjamin Hardin captured the theme of class warfare in 1841 when he claimed that slavery was depopulating his states of the sons of its early pioneers. Recalling Daniel Boone, the most benign symbol of the old pioneer squatter, he observed that the great man could never have imagined that his descendants were to be driven in exile and poverty. All across Kentucky, the proud homes of freemen were being replaced by the plantation and cattle. On the turf where once sported freeborn children, unsightly stocks of domesticated animals and slaves now existed. Free soil revived the fight between squatters and speculators and converted squatters into honest freemen of a land democracy who stood proud against a slave-holding oligarchy. Right? So again, she's breaking down to you the struggle of how white folks was trying to come on the come up. All right? And they were fighting against those same empires known as the Roman Empire, the British Empire, German Empire, France Empire, Dutch Empire, those same holding bloodlines. That is your oligarchy, controlling everything. Once again, the Free Soil Pledge was about saving the white man. As the Republican presidential nominee in 1856, Fremont made the crisis of the honest freeman his central platform. In borrowing slaveholders from the territories, he would prevent northern white laborers from being reduced to virtual slaves in the West. Okay, so again, slavery components. And those components saying that white people was ruling back during the slavery time, I think not. I told you, white folks didn't start coming up into power until the late 1800s, and they completed that cycle in the 1900s, right? And specifically, the World War I, World War II was completing the door on ending of the Dark Ages, going into the New Age. So the New World Order, 4 motherfucking percent, you fucking 4%ers, New World Order didn't already happened, goddammit. You're hundreds of years late to the game. All right. Okay. For non-slaveholders in the South, he offered a kind of emancipation, a promise of real independence denied to them since 1776. White people, white people, white people. I'm finna read this motherfucking shit again. Free non-slaveholders in the South, he offered a kind of emancipation, a promise of real independence denied to them since 1776. So who founded fucking what in 1766 for whom? Oh, okay then. Okay. Melanated people. White folks was ruling what in 1776? Oh, okay then. Still, the free soil doctrine raised questions over whether white trash really could ever be rescued. A Massachusetts orator put it simply, I am a freeman and a son of a freeman, born and reared on free soil. Poor Southern whites were born in slave states, reared on unfree soil, and according to a growing number of public commentators, they suffered from a degenerate pedigree. Okay, so I know some people that were born out in the West, melanated people get their ass on their back. Oh, well, my family wasn't in slavery, this, that, and the third. That was predominantly in the South. When they were really talking about melanated people and white people. We keep telling y'all all this shit is reversed out. All right, they did not act like freemen. In Helper's view, their ignorance and docility had made them worse than Russian serfs when they complainingly voted the slavocrats into office time and time again. All right, so we're going to stop there because we only got a couple minutes before overtime. This shit is getting hot, baby. Sis, you have any last words for the family?
It's interesting. I don't know about anybody else, but my concepts of how we're treated nowadays is really different than it was before. I mean, we had that out of Africa stuff they taught us when we were in school. That's where we came from. And now I look at how they approach us now, white people. I should keep calling white people, as they approach us now in areas like I am in. And I now I understand their hostility towards this. I understand it, even though it's
deep.
Unfair. It's
Isn't it deep?
Yeah, I mean they can't us for what happened to them over on the other across the pond, you know. but that's what they came over here with chips on their shoulders, and it's passed down to generations, and then they treat us like we're under their feet. You know, we didn't do nothing to them. American indigenous Indians never did nothing to them.
Right.
Some of them had them for slaves because they trespassed in their communities. So it's kind of interesting, my perspective of who they are now, when I look at them and I look over my life. I really look over my life, trying to be a professional, trying to, you know, to do the parenting thing among them,
it's
and
deep.
how, everything is really strange. They got a deep hatred for us. They really do.
And the deep hatred, I mean, I understand where the deep hatred come in, because they don't want to give up
what they got,
their land and position, exactly, which it was never theirs to have in the first place. And what's fucked up about it, now I'm just on Cali and Texas, they treating the Mexicans like shit, and shit, the Mexicans got more of a birthright than they do.
Yeah.
So this is the cognitive dissonance, white folk, that you all have to face. And that's the reason why I said last week that everybody running around, the 95% not knowing who the fuck they are. White folk, you fall in that category. You got to get your shit together. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
I just want to mention Maximilian was over here running this place in California from Spain, so, you know, and the missions of the...
Yeah, which would make sense why she said in the book that the Spanish elite had their motherfucking legs crossed chilling, and the white folks were beneath them.
Right.
So that's why I called out white people. So who was there first? So, but anyhow, okay, Brother Sean, you got any last words for the family?
Well, just to piggyback off of that, we have to remember that the quote-unquote original Mexicans were melanated.
Exactly.
We briefly talked about identity theft. It's just no way around fuckery perpetrated on melanated people by melanated people.
Absolutely.
Until we take full accountability, where people sitting up, looking up their bloodlines and only want to talk about what they conquered and this, that, or the other.
Exactly.
There's karma to come along with that, and you don't seem to be apologizing for that or trying to break it.
Exactly.
So you will be broken by it.
You will be broken by it. Absolutely. Because you're supposed to be making atonement for the fuck shit. Not glorifying that you connected to that bloodline. Personally, you should be fucking ashamed. I would be. I would have to call out, that fuck shit is part of my bloodline. I apologize. Now, I don't even have any proof that my family was a part of the fuck shit, but I sure put that shit on declaration. I apologize in motherfucking advance, just in case they was on some fuck shit. So, very good point. We're going to be back next week. YouTube family, sweetie pies, we're going to have to say peace and love. Thank you to you all. We're going to get in one last little rock out with a song, and I don't want to get our shit taken down. So love you much. We're going to come back next week and get back on the topic. Peace and love, YouTube.